Jesale sent a super chat. I can't be here tonight because of family birthday, but here's an aura or attacks to start everyone off today. The real conspiracy is the friends we made along the way, everyone.
Hello, Cybees. Well, first of all, because Giselle paid for it. Oh god, anyone new here is gonna be so confused.
At the _space dog sent a super chat. 4th stream of the week tag.
It's true, it's true, it's true. I mean, I am going to be streaming Disco Elysium on Thursdays and Tuesdays now, because I'm doing gaming streams again, so you guys can look forward to that. Maybe I'll throw in a third day, it depends. It is a very fun game. I'm enjoying it a lot. And I was also thinking that next Friday, because, last time the Digital Circus episode release interfered with my, streaming schedule, maybe I'll just do the episode discussion that Friday. Just so we can get it over with. You know? I've also turned off the audio processing because it's been cutting me off, so we'll just have to put up with hearing my fan in the background, I guess. I usually stream on Fridays. I stream on Fridays now, Dana, so... It is Friday, right? I didn't fuck up, did I? Yeah, I gotta put the Distractotron on. Well, it's not really Distractotron today because we're just watching videos, but I'm using my same art layout for Fridays. Let's just get rid of that. Yeah. Yes, we're going to talk about aliens or some. I don't even know what. I think we're just gonna jump around his videos tonight because the last. And how do I sound? By the way, I'm not cutting out or anything. There might be a slight buzz behind me, but it's worse if I'm cutting out. Oh, C-Puff was streaming about Velma? Oh my god, I'm about to go watch that VOD. Stop it, stop trying to gaslight me in the chat. Alright, and that's what you guys are always doing. So, last time we talked about Greg here, I was kind of skeptical that Armoured Skeptic had become a complete crazy conspiracy bro, like everyone was telling me. Like, because I was like, we were watching some videos about, like, you know, trumpets in the sky and other weird shit like that. I don't know if she streamed on Fridays. But he was kind of debunking them. So I was like, I don't know, guys. I don't know. He doesn't seem like he's that crazy, guys. And then I started on his History is a Lie videos, and we got to him saying there was a great reset in the Victorian ages because there was a worldwide mud flood that, like, halved the population, and they were moving people into empty cities. And I was like, oh. Oh. How to not be adoption? Don't draw fetish art, for one thing. For starters, that's the best advice on how to not be Andrew Dobson. Andrew Dobson, professional artist, traces pictures of Big Ben. Oh, damn it. I'm trying to move this dock around. I'm trying to find a place for my sticker dock. So I can throw the donuts when Billy Donuts gets here. Now, why won't it let me preview it? What the fuck? Is my sticker overlay not on? Let me check. Let me check. It should be. Yeah, it should be. Why won't you let me do it? Well, that's strange. Okay, never mind. I don't know who's crazy. That's a very good question. I mean, Jordan's been at this for 10 years, and he's always been religious and you know, woo-filled. But, Greg, I actually used to watch him back when, you know, the atheist debunking crowd was, like, super popular on YouTube. I don't think it is quite anymore. Look, the poll was, like, neck and neck, and Greg got a little bit ahead for a while there, so I had to call it, okay? I had to make the thumbnail and shit. You haven't missed anything yet, so I might go back to his History is a Lie videos. Let's just see. Proving ghosts are real. This sounds like one where he wouldn't be as crazy, though. Does anybody have any suggestions of particularly out there videos of his? The History is a Lie ones have been pretty good. I haven't been watching them, don't worry. I was just scanning through looking for thumbnail fodder. Yeah, because this was one of the first ones we watched last time. And it was like, I don't know, he's kind of debunking it. Let me just go to the History is a Lie playlist and see if we can find anything juicy. Yeah, there he's looking like Discount Wendigoon up there. So...
At Gargarock Bob sent a super chat. Time to hear people say how aliens help ancient people build pyramids because apparently they are too hard to make. Also, they only help people of color, never white. Definitely not racist.
I do believe we went into that sort of thing last time. Oh, you know what? I spotted earlier. He had another video on fucking Tartaria. So if you don't know, Tartaria is just what ancient people called Mongolia when they didn't have the maps all figured out, but idiots think it was like some mystical land the same way they think Lemuria or Atlantis were actual missing, missing lands, you know, that existed. Is it Tartaria or Tartaria? I don't know. Tartaria, the lost civilization. I don't think this is, like, it came up in another one of his videos, but I don't think this is the one we watched. So let's pop, we'll be a little more loosey-goosey with this one. We'll just kind of pop around his videos and see what's good, I think. Also, I wish my sticker panel would work for me. Why? Oh, well, now it will. Okay. Good. I can throw the donuts. I made this specifically for Billy Donuts. He better be here. I can have custom throwables on the sticker app now. Unfortunately, you can only throw shit on Twitch. But in the future, I may find a way to let people throw things with chat commands on YouTube, which I'm sure would get chaotic very, very quickly. So, alright, let's just get into it, I guess. I'll keep my music on.
The Tartaria conspiracy theory community has gotten completely out of control.
I wish you would just change your channel to Armored Media instead of Armored Skeptic, because you are no longer a skeptic, sir.
I remember coming across the modern online narratives about Tartaria about 6 or 7 years ago when I was researching theories about Tesla and lost ancient technology. The idea is that Tesla was basing his electricity generating concepts off of much older technologies that fell out of favor or were maybe even intentionally decommissioned by the powers that be.
Okay, sounds like this is gotta be a crazy one, so...
Sometime in the mid to late 1700s. 6 or 7 years ago,
Let's see, Garbo says, Minutemen covered Tartaria before. It's on all old maps that used to categorize unknown countries by racial groups. So Tartaria was just a category of general area near Russia we don't know. Exactly! It was basically, like, we don't know what's up in Mongolia, so they just label it Tartaria. It's like, it's so funny, because he was like, oh, look at this map that has California as an island. It's like, yeah, it was probably like a map maker having the place described to them. Or maybe they came across a lake and thought it was an ocean, you know? Like, he was expecting people from, like, the fucking, like, 1700s to have, like, accurate maps. You know, before satellites existed.
Tartaria community was pretty small. There were only really a handful of fringe channels on YouTube, for example, that were even talking about it. But last time I checked...
Yes, you're right, Orbit, and that's where they invented Pop-Tarts in Tartaria.
The subreddit for Tartaria has about 55,000 people on it, and the subreddit for Tartarian technology has about 15,000 people. And it's not...
Oh my god, lots of people on Reddit are talking about this bullshit conspiracy theory. Now I'm convinced it's true.
That I don't believe that Tartaria deserves to be talked about online. I am just shocked and kind of confused by all of the things that people are trying to attribute to Tartaria. There does appear to be a little bit of evidence that there was a previous civilization before ours, or at least a previous paradigm before the one we're currently living.
What do you mean by that? Of course there were civilizations before, like, our modern one. What do you mean by ours? You mean the current world, globally, all over, or do you mean, like, Canada? Because, yes, there were civilizations before Canada, Greg.
Living in, where things in the West...
At Skonsan Jam sent a super chat. I've got an old atlas from my grandparents that has a map of Yugoslavia. Must be a mystical country of legend.
It sure is, just like Denmark.
Evidence that there was a previous civilization before ours, or at least a previous paradigm before the one we're currently living.
Yeah, what have I said? What have I fucking said? Anybody who says paradigm is full of shit. You can just tell. You just throw out anything they say after that.
At Gordon Lemon 3738 sent a super chat. I remember when I watched his first conspiracy videos and being so confused.
Yeah, like, when did this change occur? Like, is this just what dating shoe-on head does to a bitch? I mean, Jesus.
Where things in the Western world used to be different. Our technology was different, our society was different, our culture was different. Some people have even taken to calling this lost time period as the 1,000-year reign of Christ. But
I would think that would be our current period, wouldn't it? Since Christianity is still, like, the most influential, like, thing culturally in the world. You know, he's gotten, like, oddly Jesus-y, too. He was an atheist bro before. He dated Shoe on Head. For a while. Actually, and they both got chuddy together.
Kicker is that somehow a lot of these online theorists surmise that the
You haven't missed much. We're watching Greg talk about Tartardia again.
A lot of these online theorists surmise that the previous civilizational paradigm was ruled by Tartaria. Tartaria somehow created and ruled over a worldwide free energy civilization, but after the paradigm shift between the late 18th century and the early 19th century, free energy was replaced by the oil industry.
I don't even know how to address that. Oh yeah, there was definitely an ancient civilization that just vanished. It totally had free energy. And we had free energy until we started using oil. Which wasn't really that long ago. Though people used oil for other things before, like vehicles.
Adbalonic111 sent a super chat. Sorry I'm late. Was watching your Let's Play.
Yay! Yeah, I noticed the sound was kind of bad on the Let's Play too. I took off the audio processing. It's just worse. It's worse if I try to use that. You'll just have to hear my fucking air conditioner when I talk.
@Sconsanjam sent a super chat. Brother, I can answer most of your questions. The answer is the Crusades or the Silk Road. Put the tinfoil down.
Yeah, you think maybe stuff like the Black Plague and the Crusades maybe, like, you know, change things in civilization?
@Gargarock Bob sent a super chat. No, this is what, not dating, Shoehead does.
But he did date her. That was the joke. It was like, I'm not saying she drove him crazy. I'm just kidding. But seriously, it's so weird because I, like, didn't watch this guy for years and years and years and years and years. He was starting to get kind of cocky back in the day. He was kind of turning into an asshole. Ugh, excuse me. And he was getting very chuddy, so I stopped watching him. And then everyone's like, he's a conspiracy theorist now. And I was like, what? No. But now he's talking about free energy. Yeah, free energy, angry Newton noises. Yeah, brother, do you know about the basic law of thermodynamics? Like, there is no such thing as free energy. Something has to be used for energy to happen in our universe. That's just kind of how it works. Yeah, she was married with kids now, so, ouchie.
Replaced by the oil industry. And spiritual enlightenment and homogeny with nature was replaced by corporations and oligarchs. Maybe...
So we were all a bunch of hippy-dippy people right up until we started using oil and the Age of Enlightenment. And then the Age of Enlightenment made corporations take over? You know, I remember him long ago talking about how he was angry because people told him he had a learning disability and it turned out he didn't. No, honey, I think they were right.
@MadLad7269 send a super chat. Skeptic 2 Electric Boogaloo Tesla's rolling grave.
Maybe that is his plan for free energy. You just get Tesla rolling in his grave fast enough, and we'll have enough energy for the entire world.
Maybe certain aspects of this theory could be true. Maybe not. I already have an entire video giving my take on the old world free energy theory, and I'd like to talk about that a little bit more in a future video. But this video is not really about that. For those of you that have never really heard of the Tartaria thing before, Tartary was the name that European...
I heard about it only from you, and immediately figured out what it was, despite all the bullshit you were saying. I was like, oh, that's just saying we don't know what the fuck is up there, something, Mongolia and Russia. I do believe people used to call Mongolians the Tartar people, right? I'm pretty sure that was a thing.
That European map makers gave to various regions spanning from Eastern Europe all the way across the Middle East and Asia between the...
Yeah, this means we don't know Fuckistan, you know? That's what it means, basically. Don't know what's Hyria. That's what it means.
@DireWolf181 sent a super chat. The East India Company? Probably the Og Megacorp.
You know, that would actually, like, support his point, but I don't think that's what he's talking about.
The 13th and 18th centuries.
Yeah, Tartaria just means, you know, we don't know land. Who knows land?
Name Tartary was basically used...
Yeah, it's like when people used to just call places the Orient, you know, the mysterious Orient, woo! Because Greg doesn't seem to understand that we did not have satellites back in the day, and that it took like 2 fucking months to travel anywhere, you know? Hey, thank you, Shark Jumping Walrus, for 5 gifted subs. If you do get hit by the gifted sub fairy today, you can, connect your Discord and your YouTube accounts, and it should dump you in my Discord. You usually have to do it from the Discord side for it to work, though. So, yeah, I don't give a fuck, Landia.
In 18th centuries, the name Tartary...
Let's see, Spacerock says the Tartars are different, but a lot of people got called Tartars erroneously, including the Mongols. Okay, so that must be what I was thinking of.
Was basically used as a pejorative, or maybe even as a derogatory term to describe these regions to...
I mean, look, you can even see on that map he just showed. Mongol. They're talking about Mongolia, you dumb shit. The Mongolians were not a mystical, high-tech people that had free energy secretly, okay? Otherwise, they would have taken over the world like they almost did.
Term to describe these regions to imply that they were untamed wildlands. Depending on who made...
It's like saying hinterland, stupid.
...the map and the time period the map was produced, there are a lot of different ways that maps would break up the Tartarian regions.
Tatari Independenti, China, Grand Tartar. These are funny, though. I like looking at these. I don't think this is very accurate, either.
And depict its occupants. The perspective that most Europeans had of Tartary at the time was that it was occupied by uncivilized, barbarian-like wild people.
You say as you show, like, a Mongolian or probably any of the, like, you know, mountain tribes who live there. So, why are you calling the Mongols barbarians? Hopefully you're not saying that's your opinion, too.
The perspective that most Europeans had of Tartary at the time was that it was occupied by uncivilized, barbarian-like wild people, and that the entire land was unsafe for travelers and unfriendly to Europeans and Africans.
Yes, this is Armoured Skeptic. At some point, he went from a skeptic to a conspiratard. I don't know exactly when this happened, because I lost track of him for a number of years, but my fans were telling me he's gone crazy, and I was very skeptical in my first stream on him, and then I hit the crazy, and I was like, oh, okay, he believes in a worldwide mud flood that reset society in the Victorian ages, I see.
Xgonsen Jam sent a super chat. Don't tell this man about the Soviet Union.
You'd probably think they're mystical as well, I don't know.
Adbalonic 111 sent a super chat. The Mongols didn't have free power, they had horsepower.
That's a good one. That's a good one, Bylonic. But I was just thinking, do you think like 500 years from now there's gonna be somebody on the equivalent of YouTube going, there used to be this missing mystical civilization known as the Soviet Union. You know? I bet that's gonna fucking happen. AI 500 years from now, quote me on that.
As far as Europeans were concerned, they believed that Tartary was occupied by marauders, war bands, and bandits who...
I mean, the Mongols were kind of, like, did like to invade people. Let's not forget that.
Freely roamed the land. Now, a lot of information about Tartary was actively erased from history, and the massive online community of conspiracy theorists...
My God, it wasn't erased from history. It was just who knows Landia. You know? That's all it meant. It was, we don't know what's up here. That's all it meant.
That believed Tartary, or Tartaria as they call it, was the master of the previous civilizational paradigm, and that the reason that Tartarian history was erased was to cover up that they used to rule the world. And
I'm just getting flashbacks to the backstory for Assassin's Creed right now.
We're masters of higher technology.
In today's video, I am going to discuss the mind-blowing Tartaria, a lost
You're not crediting this video from what is this person an expert in? Why should I trust what they're saying?
civilization which seems to have been forgotten or erased. Tartaria was apparently once where a very spiritual and technologically advanced civilization existed. It was well known as the Golden Empire and covered most of the Northern Asian continent. Originally a location
And he's showing really tall people, and what am I even supposed to get from this, Greg?
had been ruled by the Tatarski Velakani mighty giants, who were essentially from the Aryans. Tartaria was a huge land.
Yes, I see now what you guys are saying about the special, like, how, you know, when you peel back so many of these conspiracy theories, it's all just racism. It's just bog standard racism.
Landmass and would have still been.
Garbo says Assassin's Creed is based on these bullshit conspiracy theories. And yeah, it's fun in something like that, you know? Oh, there was an advanced technological civilization before ours, and woo! But, like, no, this doesn't happen in real life.
The largest today, if the mud floods had not destroyed everything.
There are countless.
Oh, not the mud flood! Not the mud flood again! There was no fucking mud flood! How do you, like, I don't understand how he can buy into this. How do you not understand this is the exact same bullshit young Earth creationists say? How do you not recognize that? You spent years debunking those people. This is what confuses me about him.
Content farming channels on YouTube alone that crank out constant content implying that Tartaria built all of the massive structures around the world and that they were masters of old world technology. Technology that has been lost to us.
This incredibly advanced culture used free energy systems, grandiose architecture that still exists to this day, using the
where is any of this? Citation needed.
Magnetic frequencies of planet Earth to abundantly live.
Citation!
People talk about Tartary as if it was the author of a theoretically better civilizational paradigm that was stolen.
What do you mean, these people? You're one of those people? I'm gonna speed him up a little bit, just so, because I want to get to a number of his videos tonight. Maybe we won't even finish some of them. We'll just hop around.
From us. The problem with this conspiracy theory is that even though a lot of Tartarian history was erased and rewritten, a lot of European accounts of interactions with Tartaria still survive today. So with the fragments of their history that we have left, can we say that Tartary was the master of a global civilization that used it?
No, it wasn't even a real place. I almost said Jordan. Greg! You're looking a lot like Jordan these days, only you have much better hair, I must say.
Advanced technology? I don't think so.
Was that just your fucking introduction? That was like 5 minutes long!
At Direwolf181 sent a super chat. PPL whining about AC shadows not being historically accurate is so funny when the entire plot is literally an ancient aliens plot. And Aryans? Yikes.
It's not Aryans in Assassin's Creed, at least. At least I don't think so. I haven't really played any of them past Black Flag, to be honest. Alright, let's just go to his History is a Lie series, because that is the funniest one. I just wanted to hear more Tatardation, but I guess we're not getting that. So here's his old shit, you know, where he used to, like, no more conspiracies 4 days ago. What? Oh, he updated this 4 days ago. Wait, what's in this playlist? Talking about Prager Use, moon landing hoax. Does he believe the moon landing is a hoax now?
Ironic111 sent a super chat. You could say, they were the master race. JK.
Badum-tish, yeah. Okay, now we're just gonna go to History is a Lie, because that does seem to be the funniest one. Maybe we should just play roulette here. Alien skulls. Are alien skulls real? Is your skull real? The real Jesus. That might be a little too touchy if we talk about Jesus. I'm not sure. The riddle of the Sphinx solved. Oh, that looks like it has potential to be a headache. I'm not really brushed up on Egyptology, though. Dead God and Hero Clown. Why is Jack Skellington and the Joker here?
Excellent Sam Jam sent a super chat. There's been conspiracy theories about why the Romans pulled out of real answer is it rained all the time and the locals were pagans.
The Scottish just scared the Romans away. I wonder how many people even know, like, that Rome, like, invaded the UK. How many people even know that? Green Man? He has one called Green... Okay, you keep saying Green Man, Mad Lad, and I'm scared. Which one are you talking about? Is that a name of a video? All I get is Jesus when I type in Green Man. Should I be concerned? Achieve life in the fall of man. Were angels real? And here he is 10 years ago making fun of Jordan, and he has become Jordan. I don't... Is it one word? I'm trying to ascertain which video you guys want me to click on here. Let's go back to the playlist.
An
No, wait,
account.
no, oh, the Jesus is the Green Man is in Jesus. Okay. Well, look at the real Jesus. Look at the Jesus Christos, okay? Like, oh god, Joker's in this video too. What is happening? All right, it's long, so I'm gonna put him on 1.25. Well, I don't think Greg does understand the basics of science. I don't know how he did debunk flat earthers and creationists.
The Giza Plateau is the most complex
Oh, yeah, I can see why you'd say he's a lot like Sargon of Akkad. Yeah, he's the same kind of cunt as Sargon of Akkad, it's true.
historical site on the planet. Yes, physically complex, with the impressive size of the pyramids, the architectural precision and mathematical principles incorporated into their design, and the layout matching the stars of the constellation Orion.
You know, people paid a lot of attention to the stars back in the day because they didn't really have much else. It's like how, like, ships learned to navigate by the stars, so, like, you know, maybe today the average person doesn't pay much attention to the stars, but ancient people did, because it was one of their only ways to navigate.
But it's also the center and origin point
So you understand people didn't have, like, GPS and shit back then, right?
several cultures, religions, traditions, and
Wasn't really slaves that built the pyramids, they were more like, laborers and indentured servants, I think. They were paid, they discovered. The whole we were slaves in Egypt thing is from the Bible, and it's never actually been proven, but let's not put my fedora on too tight today.
technologies. The ancient name for Giza was Kemet, which is where we get the word
Kemet.
chemistry. I really hope that you've watched the rest of the Tinfoil Helmet series by now, otherwise a lot of this video is just going
At
to go...
least he admits it's tinfoil, but no, I'm not. No, we're just gonna jump right into this one, Greg. I'm sure these are all just as incomprehensible. So, oh no, I've never respected Sargon of Applebee's. No one should.
right over your head. But remember, this is just for fun. Don't take this too seriously. I'm just spinning together a little bit of wizardry and magic.
Do you have
for your
music in
entertainment.
this one?
But a lot of what I discuss in this series is true,
he
and it's
does.
fun to think about these things in new ways.
A lot of the stuff it's totally true though, guys. It's totally true. Anyway, I'm gonna try to put my little music thingy-bobber up. I just don't want to hit that button on the video. It tends to change the timestamps on me.
But if you've gotten this far in the playlist, you must agree by now that there are some pretty enigmatic things about history, and it's totally fair for us to ask at this point.
Yeah, they're enigmatic just because we didn't have ways to, you know, verify and record things as well back then. That doesn't mean that's a... God damn it, Greg. That's a God of the Gaps argument. That's... Well, if the historians and the archaeologists and the scientists don't understand this, that means my woo-woo garbage must be true. That's a total God of the Gaps argument. You used to debunk these things! How do you do this?
Is history a lie? So far, I've shown you a lot
Hey,
of
you're a
physical
lie.
examples of strange things throughout history and pieced
Take
them together
skeptic
for you
out of
in
your
sort of a meaningful
fucking
way.
name.
But wouldn't it make more sense to understand the mindset and the religion of the cultures that actually built those things? This is probably...
Wow, people build pyramids all over the world because they're like kind of like one of the most obvious structures you could possibly build.
At Direwolf181 sent a super chat. Exodus is just historical fanfiction all made up.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that might make some people mad, but they've never had any archaeological evidence of it.
Probably going to be the strangest video in the series because it's going to tie together a lot of really abstract concepts from several different cultures. However, I believe that this is the video that I'm the most confident about. In
Oh,
my
really?
Tesla video, I described my theory about a specific building complex layout that we see throughout history. 2 buildings, a fountain,
I
and
love
a
how he keeps cocking his eyebrow every time he wants you to take what he's saying seriously.
pillar with a park in the middle that were able to conduct some level of electricity.
I don't know what Shoe on Head did to this man, but... My god! I'm just kidding, I'm not actually blaming her, I'm just doing a bit.
A theory that I feel I demonstrated is likely true. In that video, I refer to those complexes as parks, because that's what we call them today. But that's not what the ancient people called them.
Uh-huh.
The ancients called them gardens. The ionized air and ionized water that I hinted promoted good health would also promote rich crops and bountiful harvests. The reason why the Freemasons and cult groups venerate the pyramids is because all of these gardens around the world are based on the design of the Giza Plateau. But the Giza Plateau is not just the inception point of culture and technology. The Giza Plateau is where it all began.
No, that's Sumeria. Like, already you're wrong. Everyone agrees that the oldest civilization we can verify is Sumeria. So, you know, the cradle of civilization, they call it that for a reason. I mean, there were probably older settlements before them that are just lost to time. I mean, that's the best we have. We have what we can verify. And again, just because we can't verify something doesn't mean your bullshit is automatically true.
Giza was the Garden of Eden. Did I just casually reveal the
Are you Christian now? I'm so confused.
Eden? Did I just casually reveal the location of the Garden of Eden in the intro of my video? Yep, that's the kind of video you're in for today, so you better
Yeah, and the Mormons think it was in America. Who the fuck cares what any of you think? It wasn't a real place.
strap in because I got a lot of information to throw at you. Welcome back to Tinfoil Helmet.
What broke his brain, man? God, that's fucking loud. He's saying there were ancient synthetic gardens of Eden with electrical power. Just because most people would call what we would call a plaza or a park today a garden. Okay. I mean, in what language, though? It's not like these things were called gardens in every language. Like, yeah, maybe we translate it to garden in English. That doesn't mean it necessarily exactly means that. I mean, it's just semantics.
Göbekli Tepe is an extremely important site. It represents the inception point for civilization. It's where farming and complex architecture were developed by humans.
I think we looked this up before, and that's not true. Like, agriculture started, like, even before, like, recorded civilization, Greg. We had to start somewhere. You know, like, humans started settling down and growing things instead of being nomads. We just can't go back that far because there's just nothing left. It's lost to the sands of time.
Or maybe we were taught by some sort of giant. It appears as if there was some sort of giant venerated at the site, perhaps even worshipped. But the site also seems to represent a turning over point. I alluded to some of the carvings describing a cataclysmic event.
Are you gonna pull a Jordan and say because the statues are really big, it means the people that the statues were also like 50 feet tall in real life? Are you doing a Jordan? Are you doing a Jordan right now?
_space frog sent a super chat. Let's go to the garden. Musical
Let's
notes
go
emoji.
to the garden. You'll find something waiting. It's your brain that you left behind all those years ago.
Well, if this is Scorpio, then this is the constellation Cygnus, also known as the Northern Cross. Often depicted as a bird, she seems to be holding a large...
Well, do you know the Egyptians had their own constellations, and the Greeks had their own constellations? You know, because again, there wasn't a lot to do at night in ancient times, but look at the fucking sky. So people were much more invested in the stars at the time and would make up shapes in them, you know? I mean, just because you don't go out and look at the night sky doesn't mean people today don't still study it and do these things, but...
ball, maybe an egg? What if this represents the Great Phoenix?
Or it's just representing the fucking North Star? You know, because everyone uses the North Star for navigation because from our vantage point on Earth, it doesn't move. And all the other stars seemingly rotate around it from our vantage point, so people use it for navigation? Yes? You know, people didn't have just, like, cell phones with GPS back then, I hope, right?
The flaming bird god that dies and comes back to life as its own child, sacrificing
I don't think phoenixes are an Egyptian thing. That's like an Arab thing.
itself in fire to give life to its egg. This art is depicting the same kind of celestial event that the...
That's the Whore of Babylon. That's the Whore of Babylon from Revelation. Like, literally, that's what the passage in there describes. The Whore of Babylon giving birth and, like, a red dragon coming to eat the baby. Or Hydra or something like that. Yeah, that's Revelation, Greg. God, thank God I know these things. I have had an interest in ancient civilizations, anthropology, and comparative religion. Because if you didn't know these things, you would just eat up what he's saying, I imagine.
At Soreheart520 sent a super chat. Maybe he'll believe that there were Sky Islands.
Maybe he will. It looks like Magic the Gathering art. It does. It's somebody's depiction of Revelation, but
life as its own child, sacrificing itself in fire to give life to its egg. This art is depicting the same kind of celestial event that the book of Revelation describes as the dragon. I would never argue that the...
Well, again, that's the Whore of Babylon giving birth and the dragon eating the baby from Revelation. That's not a phoenix. The Bible. Oh, no wonder you're so confused. You don't have the Bible, you have the Bible.
Bible is true, or that it's historically accurate. But I've come to the inescapable conclusion that there is truth in there.
Okay, so he is, like, just becoming a Christian.
There is history in there. Events.
Yeah, some. I mean, you can piece together a lot about ancient culture and the political attitudes of the time by tracing, you know, what centuries parts of the Bible were written in. Absolutely. But that doesn't mean the stories themselves, especially Revelation, are true.
Places, rulers, cultures, and names that they use for different kinds of people, like classes of people, like the sons of God, the sons of Cain, the messenger angels, the Nephilim. I don't think that these were made-up terms for non-existent characters. I'm convinced that these were terms that they used to describe real people.
The Nephilim are said... the Nephilim aren't in the Bible, for one thing. That's the Book of Enoch. So, fuck you. Again, thank God I know these things. The Nephilim are not in the Bible. Like, maybe giants, but giants and Nephilim aren't the same thing. So the Nephilim, the Watchers, were fallen angels who had babies with human women, and those became giants. But that is not considered biblical canon in either Catholic or Protestant, or I'm pretty sure even Eastern Orthodox religion. The Book of Enoch is Apocrypha, so... What the fuck are you talking about?
Many of them would have been considered different shaman or priest classes that had a greater connection to God, basically.
No.
Obviously, many of them were considered to be gods themselves. Later,
of course, because Nephilim is a cool word, and people want them to be some cool mystical bullshit. That's why.
They would have become the emperors or god kings of our societies, convinced that they were descended from the gods themselves, or the fish people, or the dragon people, or the lion.
I think you're descended from fish people.
But they all would have been related to the Homo Denisovin in some way. If you've been
The
watching
Homo
the
what?
series or listening to my podcasts, then you know my theory that these god kings were different species or hybrid species of humans. DNA
Hybrid with fucking what? You have turned into Jordan River. Oh my fucking god. Did you take ayahuasca and it just damaged your brain? Did you go on a retreat with Jordan? What happened? I'm so confused at this turn.
At Hurtworks sent a super chat. Sigh, you silly bitch. If it's something simple and easily explained, I don't get credit for my BS off-brand fantasy stories, and then I am not special.
I see. That makes sense.
recently recovered
Here's a
from
podcast,
Denisovin Cave
everyone.
proves that sapiens cohabitated and interbred with Denisovin and Neanderthal around...
Yes, Neanderthal. What the fuck are Denisovin? Is this a made-up woo-woo thing? I'm gonna have to... Divinosa. An extinct species or subspecies of archaic human that ranged across Asia during the middle to late Pleistocene. Approximately 32,000 years ago. So no, these are not Homo sapiens. I'm pretty sure they would have been bred out of existence by Neanderthal times, wouldn't they? Okay, no, I guess this is right. Davicians interbred with modern humans with a high percentage Davician DNA in Aboriginal Australians and Filipino and Negritos. What is that? Sounds like a flavor of chip. Oh, they're from Southeast Asia. Okay. Alright, so yeah, we crossbred with Neanderthals, and they were also species of human, but they weren't Homo sapiens. So, like, we're Homo sapiens sapient, right? And then these other breeds of human, like, they were still humans, so they were still kind of the same species, because we could interbreed. But, they basically, like, these other two human, species basically got subsumed, and, with what eventually became modern humans. So, where are you going with this, Greg? I'm a little concerned. I guess I had never heard of this, this one. I know, like, Homo erectus and a bunch of the other ones, but there's so many, like, anyone who says we don't have missing links between humans and other simians, they're full of shit. Look at this stuff. Neanderthals are pretty interesting. They seemed like they grew very tall, and they were pretty genetically varied. I mean, maybe the Dutch came from Neanderthals, and they're fucking huge, you know?
Around 30,000 years ago, they likely produced a wide variety of hybrid offspring, many of which continuing to procreate.
Well, you can't really call them hybrids anymore. We've all become like a single Homo sapiens species. So, hey, bigots, we're Homo sapiens, not heterosapiens. That's right. It's Pride Month, motherfuckers!
For thousands of years. And with deviations over time, this would explain the many different names for the many different kinds of hybrid humans that existed.
Kinds of hybrid humans. Who are you calling human hybrids? Like, what? I feel like you're about to say something racially insensitive, but you are at least smart enough to pull back.
Offspring, many of which continuing to procreate for thousands of years. And with deviations over time, this would explain the many different names for the many different kinds of hybrid humans that existed back then. And like I described, they were forced to interbreed with sapiens. So over time, their heads began to shrink, and they began to look more and more like normal humans. But
they were humans, though. They were subspecies of humans. But now we're all the same species. You know? So, because they got bred into us, and now we're just all the same species. That's how evolution works!
But there's an ancient story that's told over and over again in multiple cultures, religions, myths, and legends, in ancient literature and plays, and even in modern film, and it's referred.
Yeah, like, all of these series are, like, really racist when you peel them back. My question is, does he know? It's a lot. It's feeling a lot like Jordan River tap dancing right up to the line of admitting to being an anti-vaxxer and then darting away before he actually, like, says one way or another if he is. You know, I'm getting that vibe.
To as the hero's journey, and that is.
Yeah, you know what? Kinds. That's a young Earth creationist term. Fucking Ken Ham says kinds. Why are you saying kinds? You're definitely not a fucking atheist anymore.
Exactly the story that the Giza Plateau is trying to tell us, tying the green god Osiris to the layout of the stars 12,000 years ago. It serves as a time capsule.
And what does this have to do with Jesus?
The Younger Dryas event, showing when we started all over again after the world almost ended. This was the massive global cataclysm that knocked out Atlantis, the flood of the Bible. This is.
So you believe in the biblical flood now? And you believe in Atlantis now? Dear God, just go join the Spirit Science team already. Holy shit.
A story that's mirrored in multiple religions around the world. But what's crazy is that I found themes that were universal across all cultures, suggesting that the people back then witnessed some sort of massive celestial event, a war in the heavens. And I'm.
Again, this is shit young Earth creationists say. I'm like gobsmacked. Yeah. How did he do such a 180 on everything he used to talk about?
Convinced that whatever the people saw in the sky back then is tied to the disaster that happened here on Earth. That was awesome. I can't prove today.
That was so awesome. That take was so awesome, guys. I'm so good. I'm so good at this, guys. That was awesome.
That Giza is the Garden of Eden. If you want more of my thoughts on that idea, you'll have to listen.
Oh yeah, I forgot you said that because you threw so much other bullshit at me already. We were talking about the Giza Plateau, right?
Podcast about it. The newest stuff that we consider ancient Egyptian comes from the dynastic Egyptians. They're the ones who built most of the simpler structures with smaller stones or brick. They covered the original Sphinx with brick to make it look like a lion, and made the head a human face. The paradox that we see here is
I'm pretty sure they just sort of renovated it, didn't they? I mean, yeah, the Sphinx was there before everything that was built around it, but I'm pretty sure the ancients just, like, you know, renovated it to preserve it. You know, they thought to do those things back then, too, you know, Greg.
is that the further back in time we go, the more complex and more impressive the construction seems to be. This is something that I'm not 100% sure about.
The people in ancienter times had better construction than the people in more current times, I guess, somehow, alright?
But a lot of people...
I mean, there is that self-healing concrete the Greeks apparently made. That shit's pretty cool. Why did we lose that technology? Oh, probably because, like, Greeks just, like, you know, got fucked.
Think because the Giza Plateau has elements that date back 12,000 years, that the pyramids must be that old.
At Direwolf181 sent a super chat. Wasn't the guy who wrote Revelations high as a kite when he wrote the entire thing? The entire book is one guy's shroom-induced acid trip.
I mean, people just assume that, but it's all like symbolism and shit that probably made sense to people at the time, but we've lost all the context.
At Rock Josiah sent a super chat. 10 years ago, Skeptic would be a current Skeptic.
He would be giving him a swirly right now, yeah.
But a lot of people think that because the Giza Plateau has elements that date back 12,000 years, that the pyramids must be that old as well, but I don't think so.
We know the pyramids are newer than the Sphinx, don't we? I'm pretty sure we know that, don't we? Am I making that up? I'm pretty sure we know that the pyramids are newer than the Sphinx, right? Right? Again, I'm really not brushed up on my Egyptology. I've always had much more interest in, like, you know, East Asia and the UK and shit, so...
I think the layout is 12,000 years old, but the pyramids were built much later with preserved knowledge. They rebuilt the Garden of Eden in its original glory. It's a monument to heaven, a monument to the triple god, or what we now would call the Trinity. The limestone portion of the...
So the Egyptians secretly believed in the Catholic Trinity? Is that what you're saying? You sound like my humanities teacher in high school who tried to bring everything back to Christianity. Like, she would say, like, Buddhism is kind of like Christianity, and, like, everybody's copying Christianity. She was crazy.
Pyramids dates back 5,000 or 6,000 years at the oldest. I think that the foundations of the pyramids are what date back 12,000 years. Remember I showed you the Menkaure pyramid.
You mean the ground is as old as the Sphinx? Yeah, I would think it would be.
Is built on top of a much older foundation that's clearly Atlantean era.
Is that you in Egypt? You actually went to the pyramids and you're still saying this stupid bullshit?
That's clearly Atlantean era construction.
Or are you just blocking somebody else's face? It looks way too muscular to be you.
But what about the Khufu pyramid? The Great Pyramid. The one that's right in the center of the Earth? What's the secret behind that one? Well, that structure is built on solid limestone bedrock, but the natural foundation is shaped like a hill or a mound. Hills and mountains were the preferred locations to communicate with the gods during the Neolithic Age, and even before that. When you enter...
Well, yes, because that's just your lizard brain going, get up on high place to talk to things in sky, yes.
The top of the foundation through what looks like a drain hole, you'll find this little cubby space where the walls are lined with sand and pebbles. A stark contrast to the precision engineering that we see in the rest of the structure.
Well, it was probably there to drain stuff. Like, yeah. And oh my god, it's built on bedrock, you know, something really solid. And no shit. We lose so much shit because people in charge at the time didn't like the people before them, want the power to take things away. We only know about it because people tried to save it. Or it was yeah, it's like all the, like, the fucking crazy extremist Muslims, like, just destroying pagan architecture and statues and shit. And it's like, alright, look, you don't have to destroy them. Give them to a museum in Britain or something, for fuck's sake. Yeah, spelunking.
Sure. I believe that this was the hole that the shaman would climb into to communicate with the gods after...
Well, they have maps of this, so why don't you find out what Egyptologists say it is? Looks like it was a well. It says right here on the thing you're showing, a well.
Taking his happy juice.
Touch in chat says, math, Greg! Math is the secret, Greg!
Then there's the well room in the basement. A chamber and corridor carved into solid stone. This space, too, looks completely different from the rest of the structure. The room seems like it's chiseled away haphazardly, like they didn't care at all how it looked.
Well, yeah, because that's not a place people are gonna be in, for one thing. It was probably drainage or places for the workers to rest or something, you know?
Then there are these amorphous blobs of stone in the middle of the room. I think that this is the original well for the original garden built tens of thousands of years ago.
Wow, the stone is weathered after tens of thousands of years? You don't... In a desert? You don't fucking say! Greg? Wow, wind wears down stone over time? That's impossible.
This decaying room is the ruins of a truly ancient temple. But what about the constellation Orion, the green face?
Oh, Direwolf's talking about my teacher.
At Direwolf181 sent a super chat. Buddhism came before Christianity? What one?
Dude, like the whole class tried to tell her that. She wouldn't listen.
At 5 Tar Sailor sent a super chat. Puts my Lego together, dear God. I can't fit a sheet of paper between them. Ancient lost technology. Skeptic probably.
Yeah, he kept saying that the last time we watched him too. Like, oh, they couldn't even put paper between the stones. Like, you know, people can sand down stone to fit together. You know, people are capable of doing that. You think ancient brown people couldn't figure that out, Greg?
Temple. But what about the constellation Orion, the green-faced god Osiris, who the Egyptians tied to the layout of the Giza Plateau?
Is this the Green Man? Am I getting the Green Man? Should I be afraid?
Oh.
He sounds like he's high. I'm the one who's high right now. But you can get better baritone? Yeah, I can tell you're bass boosting your voice to sound more manly. Look, I can do it too. I can get my voice sound pretty low. Are you intimidated?
Plateau. Osiris, just like Jesus, is a god of death and resurrection. He was chopped up into pieces by his...
Jesus is a god of death and resurrection? I guess he did resurrect somebody else, Lazarus, but... You talked about the Trinity before, in the Trinity... In the beliefs of the Trinity, Jesus is also the Christian God. So, like, what do you mean?
Osiris, just like Jesus, is a god of death and resurrection. He was chopped up into pieces by his brother Set, and then reassembled by his wife. However, his reproductive organ had to be replaced with a golden phallus. So,
how is that similar to Jesus, Greg? Are you telling me Jesus had a golden dick? Why would that thought even pass your head?
but just like the Conehead video, the religion has an emphasis on the phallus. That is represented in the...
Oh, wow. Men over history have been obsessed with their dicks. Go figure.
At Direwolf181 sent a super chat. For a video about Jesus, there isn't much Jesus.
Yeah, where the hell is Jesus? Like... Your death gods are not new, Greg.
Stars in the constellation Orion. If you'll notice, the Orion Nebula between his legs gives a golden glow.
Now he's talking about space phalluses. You know, Greg, you ever think maybe that men are just kind of narcissistic and insecure, and they really, really want to believe that being born with a penis makes them superior to other people? You know how that is?
Gilgamesh, too, is a representation of Orion, sometimes depicted with a sword angled across his waist, representing Orion's belt, and a tassel between his...
How does that represent Orion's belt? Doesn't Gilgamesh predate Orion? Because, like, the Epic of Gilgamesh is, like, the oldest literature we know of. It was probably made before, like, Orion and all the other, like, Greek and Roman gods, right? Is Orion Greek or Roman? I fucking forget. Actually, let's look that up right now. Good old Wikipedia will tell me. Orion. Mythology. Greek. So, yeah. Epic of Gilgamesh predates that, so why are you saying these are the same thing? Gilgamesh was Babylonian, and sure, like the Jews kind of came out of Babylon, Babylon, the Israelites, as they called themselves, the Hebrews came out of Babylon, but, like, and then eventually the Hebrew religion turned into Christianity, but, like, I think that's a stretch.
His legs, like the golden member of Osiris. The giant...
Yeah, the tassel between his legs is definitely like a dick. They could have just showed his dick if they wanted to show his dick. What do you mean? Yeah, these tassels hanging from his little man skirt here are kind of like a golden phallus, I guess. Even though, like, well, how many, like, Gilgamesh. How is he typically depicted in art? Like, he doesn't always have a tassel. That's not, like, a definitive thing that he have a tassel, is it? Like, I don't think so. I think that's just how people dressed. Like, you don't have a tassel in that one. You don't got a tassel in that one. I might just have to look ancient art instead, because we're getting a bunch of Gilgameshes from pop culture. I ain't see no tassel. I ain't see no tassel there, neither. I guess maybe that's sort of a tassel. He's buck-ass naked in that one. Why'd you use that one where his dick's actually out? No tassel there. He's acting like this is, like... He's acting like this is some kind of, like, thing that is always depicted on Gilgamesh. Which, no. Just, like, literally that one picture you used. I just...
Dire Wolf 181 sent a super chat. Noah's flood is literal plagiarism of the epic too.
Oh, don't encourage him. He believes in Noah's flood now.
Golden member of Osiris. The giant Gilgamesh often represented holding a lion, like the depictions of the constellation Orion. Again, linking...
Orion's not holding a lion in his constellation. I don't think Orion has anything to do with lions. What are these pieces you're putting together?
Orion to the constellation Leo, making the same reference to the 12,000 year ago mark as the Giza Plateau.
Okay, so you found one art where Orion has a lion's head. I don't... Is that actually what he's supposed to be holding in the... Yeah, he's supposed to be holding a hare. So you found one where it's a lion. And it's like... And you're making this weird connection.
At Bluebird TR33 sent a super chat. JFK voice, you want me to go back in time to assassinate myself? In co-voice you will save the timeline, and it'll drive the conspiracy nuts crazy, but they'll never figure it out.
Alright. You want me to go back in time to assassinate myself? You will save the timeline. It'll drive the conspiracy nuts crazy, but they'll never figure it out. Olivia's like, Inko, what are you doing? Inko, stop threatening the timeline, or Damien's gonna have a lot of work to do. Oh god, you have to watch my Wani playthroughs to fucking get that one.
Same reference to the 12,000 year ago mark as the Giza Plateau. The battle between Orion and Leo being a key to the cataclysm that occurs in that
battle between Orion and Leo. Is this a real thing? The battle between Orion and Leo constellations is not a physical fight, but a famous cosmic dance in the spring night sky. So it's a metaphorical battle between two constellations that are not part of each other. Okay. According to some interpretations of Greek mythology. So, yeah, mostly this is fucking made up. Okay.
That time period. This image is reversed, but Gilgamesh also holds one weapon above his arm. Again, like the...
I had to reverse the image to make this work. But it totally is evidence, these artistic depictions of these characters from history are definitely, like, solid evidence of something. Again, this is how fucking young Earth creationists think. How does he do this?
Constellation. Osiris was later succeeded by his son Horus, who also has parallels to that same archetype. Horus created Sekhmet, the lioness goddess, tasked with destroying things, who later became a protector goddess. A character that transformed, as it were. This time is more poignant, as Horus is technically a sun god figure, and Sekhmet links him to a lion, just like the constellation Orion.
Okay, you made up Orion having anything to do with lions. So that's a huge stretch. Now finally we're getting to Jesus. Finally we're getting to fucking Jesus, okay.
Christians have their own trinity, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Jesus.
Catholics. Protestants don't believe in the Trinity. How are you an atheist and you don't even know basic things about Christianity? Come on!
The Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Scones and Jam says Sekhmet is Ra's daughter. Okay, so he just also made that up. Alright, cool. I'm glad some of you are more up on Egyptology than me.
Jesus was even referred to as the Lion of Judah. Egypt has Osiris, Horus, and Isis.
Isn't he more associated with lambs? What? You're just talking nonsense.
And the Hindu tradition, or at least one of the trinities that they...
Don't drag the Hindus into this now! You're pulling a Jordan again! You're just trying to make every religion work together as one big monomyth!
Isis. And the Hindu tradition, or at least one of the trinities that they represent, is Shiva, Parvati, and Ganesh.
Those are not the same thing as the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Not at all! Even similar. He's like, oh, this other religion also has, like, a trio of gods, so that must be exactly the same thing. No, Greg. No! Those are like 3 separate gods that do their own things.
It gets complicated because there are several different trinities and each god has different manifestations. But Parvati is represented with a tiger or often a lion. But my favorite version of her is called...
A tiger, but also a lion sometimes. What is this lion link you're trying to make between all of these mythologies? What point are you even trying to make, Greg?
Durga, and she's a protector goddess. Her protector form has multiple arms, again represented with a lion. A lot of parallels with
a lot of Hindu gods are depicted with multiple arms, and I don't think they even literally have multiple arms. It's like symbolism.
Durga also has a destroyer form known as Kali. Kali also has multiple different forms, one of which being a pregnant woman with a trident. And lions. Do you get it?
Okay, lions in India, alright. Yeah, they would know what those are, yes.
These kinds of images are just absolutely saturated, layered with meaning. But...
Describe what meaning you think you're seeing here between these things and what they even have in common, please. Oh, Billy is here! Yay! Billy's here! Hooray! We have to celebrate. Billy Donuts, welcome!
Layered with meaning. But what do they mean? And how do they tie back to the apocalypse?
Who brought up the apocalypse? Who said that? Who said that? Nobody said that. Now we're talking about the apocalypse?
At Super Easy Walker sent a super chat. What about Man Bear Pig?
Yeah, what about Man Bear Pig, Greg, huh? You didn't think of that, did you? Origin of Jesus. What? Are you talking about the ancient apocalypse you think happened? Or when you mean the apocalypse, you mean one that you think is going to happen to us? Or I guess we'll find out what he means. Okay. I hope.
Our ancestors were obsessed with describing celestial movements as the stories of gods and the hero.
Well, yeah, because again, they had barely anything else to do at night but look up at the fucking stars.
Of old. And most of these stories have endured throughout history, in one form or another. Arguably, Christianity started with the Apostle Paul going around describing Jesus's events in heaven. There are tons of gods of death and rebirth across multiple cultures, and people have argued that that old pagan version of that god came first, and then when Christianity came along...
The old pegging version of the god? He said pagan, but he's Canadian.
The Roman Catholic Church used it as a veneer to cover up their pre-existing pagan religion, and that's why there's such a similarity.
Well, yes, the Catholic Church did that a lot. They were just like, hey, believe our thing, and the people go, no. They're like, well, keep doing your thing, but put our thing on it or we'll stab you. And they went, okay.
The Christ is a copy of this green-faced god. But I've heard Christians argue that Satan counterfeited the Messiah story, knowing that a real Messiah would one day come along, making it too confusing to know which was the real.
So now you're, like, doing Gnosticism, but it's Satan who's the hero? Like, what? What? Ugh. Oh, God, I'm pretty sure he's Canadian. Yeah.
Christ is a copy of this green-faced god. But I've heard Christians argue that Satan counterfeited the Messiah story, knowing that a...
What Christians? What Christians say that? What Christians say that, like, the whole basis of Christianity is Jesus being the Messiah? Like, that's what separates them from Jews. And Muslims. They all believe pretty much in the same God. They argue about the, the details.
A real Messiah would one day come along, making it too confusing to know which was the real one. Christians are pretty stubborn when it comes to understanding cultures outside of their own. But they can't deny that the...
Says the guy who thinks Tartaria was a real place.
Deeds and events surrounding their Messiah perfectly fit this pre-existing archetype. But maybe both sides of that
argument... Yeah, go figure. Like, a lot of mythological figures are similar, yeah? It's almost like people will just believe this mystical woo-woo.
...are wrong. Maybe they all represent the same person. Maybe they're all talking about the same thing. Or multiple appearances of the same thing.
I'm concerned. I'm concerned where he's going with this. Is it going to be the Green Man? Is the source of everything? Is that where this is going?
What if what the people described in the Bible was a reoccurrence of what happened 12,000 years ago?
I will tell you the same thing I tell Jordan River. That's cool. Why don't you write a science fiction alt history novel then? But that's not true.
See, if we want to see the beginning, we have to go way back. Way, way back to the prototypical character that started it all. Though it's debated exactly where he originated. It seems as if he was worshipped all over Eurasia in prehistory.
We have to go way back. I mean, we don't know where this thing I'm about to talk about came from, but it's totally a real thing, though.
If he was worshipped all over Eurasia in prehistoric.
Yes, he now believes that Atlantis was a real place. He does. I have no idea what happened to this man.
Times. And we call him the Green Man. There's no way of knowing exactly how far back he goes, or if he had a real name. But there were clearly multiple versions of him throughout history. Made of bark, leaves, flowers, thorns, antlers, or horns.
This looks like pretty modern art of, like, a fantasy creature. Where does this come from? Okay. The Green Man conspiracy theory. Is this something he made up? The Green Man most commonly refers to a medieval architectural motif of a face surrounded by or made of leaves. Conspiracy theories and folklore surrounding it claim it represents a hidden, covertly worshipped pre-Christian pagan nature god that managed to survive the very fabric of Christian churches. Okay?
At Direwolf181 sent a super chat. Bring Trinity and it not Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma?
Aren't like Vishnu and Brahma higher than Shiva? I don't remember.
At Direwolf181 sent a super chat. Of course it's white Jesus. And Jesus important in Islam, funny enough. He's Isa and he actually serves the same role as he does in Revelation.
Oh yeah, a lot of people don't know that. Jesus is a prophet in Islam. They just don't think he's also God. That's literally the only difference.
At 5 Tar Sailor sent a super chat. Tartaria is a misconception from old maps because
Yep.
the people from the European steppe were called the Tartars. Like how the Romans called the Germanics barbarians.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, about how Tartaria just means we don't know land, you know?
Sconsan Jam sent a super chat. Green Man is all over the UK. We're not sure what exactly he is, but all over the place.
Maybe it was just a popular design at the time. Did you consider that? I almost said Jordan again. Did you consider that, Greg? Maybe this was just a popular design. You know, people still make stuff like this today. Let's see. However, modern historians and folklorists generally reject this narrative and said the Green Man lore breaks down into a few distinct realities. Church motif. The leaf face carvings found in churches are largely decorative or symbolic of spiritual rebirth. Early Christians used these motifs to symbolize the triumph of Christ and the resurrection, with biblical legends describing the tree of life growing from seeds planted in Adam's mouth. There's a few stories like that out there of trees growing out of people. The pagan myth, the connection to a hidden ancient pagan god, largely stems from a 1939 article by amateur folklorist Julia Somerset. She popularized the term the Green Man by tying the church carvings to unrelated folklore figures like Robin Hood or May Day performers through the connection, though this connection lacks medieval textual evidence. So yeah, like most New Age woo-woo stuff, it comes from a pretty contemporary source of somebody just making shit up. You know, it's like how all of Jordan's beliefs come from, like, a series of, like, New Age woo-woo books from the 70s, written mostly in America, by people like Drunvalo Melchizedek, you know? The American urban legend. Western Pennsylvania, the Green Man is a regional urban legend about a glowing, faceless monster roaming the roads. Oh, that's a different guy entirely. So yeah, this is just a common medieval motif that people are making up shit about. That sounds like a cool basis for a fantasy story, but, like, if you want to believe this, you better have better evidence than that.
Clyde Albrin sent a super chat. Wary of the Tartars? No. Be wary of the bars.
Or the Bears. So Omar on Twitch says, so you're saying the Green Man is an ancient equivalent of the middle school S symbol. Yeah! You could say that.
Miss Jasmine 305 sent a super chat. Latex. How goes listening to Crazy Man?
I'm starting to think he's crazier than Jordan. That's like, I've almost called him Jordan like 3 times now. Or an SC. Oh yeah, it would be a good SCP too. Yeah.
Horns sometimes. He holds a golden snake of death and rebirth. The narrative, obviously tied to nature.
That didn't come up in. Well, to be fair, this is an AI summary, but anything about snakes? Anything about snakes? No. So I'm just going to assume Greg's full of shit.
Dying in the winter and coming back to life in the spring.
That's a cool
later
photo.
version sees him as a villain, the Green Knight. This is where we notice our first indications of role.
That seems like a completely different concept than the Green Knight. Welsh, Macagwig, Cornish, Briton, is a heroic character of the Matter of Britain, originating a 14th century poem. Sir Gawain in The Green Knight and the related medieval work, The Green Knight, his true name is revealed to be Bertolac de Hotesert. Okay. The names him also Bread Beetle. The Green Knight later features in one of Arthur's greatest champions in the fragmentary ballad King Arthur and the King Cornwall. So this is like 14th century, so way later. Sir Gawain, the Green Knight, is also called it because his skin and clothes are green, as well as sporting a big as a bush beard. The meaning of his greenness has puzzled scholars. Some identify him as the Green Man, a vegetation being of medieval art. Okay, so some people do that. Others as a recollection of a figure from Celtic mythology, a Christian pagan symbol, the personified devil. The medievalist C.S. Lewis said the character was as vivid and concrete as any image in literature. So, it's like, it just comes from a poem, an unrelated poem. So, probably not the same thing, or maybe it was inspired by it. But that does not mean this is some grand conspiracy of a being that has been throughout history and was also Jesus, Greg. You're gonna have to do better than that.
Reversal as well. I get the impression that each culture represented the story differently because they didn't understand what they were seeing in the sky. There's clearly a hero and a villain, but sometimes an element that seems to describe the hero in one story describes the villain in the other. Sometimes
Wow, these maybe are different stories then that have no relation to each other. Have you considered that?
green means good and sometimes green means bad. The
Garbo says the Green Knight is green because they're implied to be a fae or fairy. Yeah, that would also make sense.
story of the Green Knight sees a giant green man barge into Sir Gawain's red domain, swinging an axe above his head in a pose identical to the constellation Orion, challenging Sir Gawain to a
It's not a pose identical to Orion, and again, you're acting like these artist depictions of these stories are, like, accurate and means you can tie all these mythological figures together. You are pulling a Jordan River again. It's astonishing.
duel. In a swift move, Sir Gawain decapitates the Green Knight, defeating him.
Okay.
The Green Knight then picks up his head, says, "You've won this round, but I'll be back for you next year," and then leaves.
That sounds like a fae to me, yeah?
Iris is probably the most similar to that, having been chopped up into several different pieces by his brother. But I think
How is getting your head chopped off in a duel the same as getting chopped to bits by your brother and then put back together? How is that at all similar?
that this represents how that culture spread across Africa, and then when the Sahara Desert dried up, all those cultures came back together as one cohesive unit again. Clearly, the micro-narrative of the Green Man is the cycle of nature, the death and rebirth of foliage and animals. But what if there's a macro-narrative to this story? What if it represents something greater, a more ominous death and rebirth cycle that happens with our planet? Something that's so difficult to remember that we had to code it into our most popular story.
That's cool. Did your schizophrenia tell you that one? Do you have any evidence of what you're saying? Again, this would be a cool fiction novel. You could do that. You could just write a fiction novel about this idea, but it's not real life.
The hero's journey. What exactly is so important?
Yeah, Garbo's right. Osiris has more in common with Dionysus. Yeah.
About 12,000 years ago that we have to keep remembering it? Why do we keep telling this story over and over again?
Because there's only so many stories we can tell. That's why. Oh God, here we go.
That's probably why I got so stuck.
Again, what does this have to do with Jesus? You're just saying, oh, this other character in history is also a Jesus.
Stuck on the riddle of the Sphinx. I got a couple for you. They're pretty easy. Who am I? If you ask my followers, they'd say that I'm a very special boy. But if you ask me, I simply feel like I am. Okay, I got another one. It's a little bit.
You feel like you're a special boy? Well, you're definitely special, all right, Greg. You're real special.
Harder. There was a man sitting on a street corner wearing a mask that read, "The King with Nothing." Someone walked up to this man, lifted his mask, and recognized that he was actually the king of everything. But the man put his mask back on and disappeared into the crowd. Why would he do that? All right, I got another one that we can actually answer in this video. What the hell is this key?
I mean, he is basically saying Jesus is a genre. Yeah, he is saying that.
I got another one that we can actually answer in this video. What the hell is this keyhole shape that the Sphinx makes? And what does this have to do with the apocalypse?
That's not... Did you mean key, not keyhole? I don't know, they were just pretty bad at building cats. It's probably eroded a lot over the years. There was probably more to it on this side. And it's fallen apart because it's 12,000 years old.
The green god's death and rebirth, being a metaphor for vegetation, is tied in also with the stories of Christmas and Easter. But that's...
How? The story of Christmas is Jesus being born in a manger. And the story of Easter is him willingly getting himself executed. Because that's gonna save everybody if you believe in him after. And also Easter was a pagan holiday that was subsumed by Catholicism. So... Okay.
It's just the micro-narrative. The meta-narrative parallels that story, and I think that Giza proves that the death and rebirth of the entire Earth is tied to the Green Man, to the massive cataclysm that happened 12,000 years ago.
You haven't proven any massive cataclysm, and you haven't proven what you're saying right now.
the story of the Great Phoenix. So here's my logic, and I think you'll agree.
And phoenixes are not Egyptian.
By creating a layout at the Giza Plateau depicting the Green Man, and then tying it to that specific event that happened 12,000 years ago. They're saying that the Green Man also represents the death and rebirth of the entire planet. The hero's journey.
Just because Osiris is green? He's probably green because he's the god of the underworld. You know, so he kind of looks like a dead body. Yeah, that would make sense. You know how lots of depictions of death are pale or gray, or in Hades' case, in Hercules, blue. You know, kind of corpsey. You think maybe that's why Osiris is green and has nothing to do with medieval architecture featuring, like, a dryad-looking dude? Like, think, Greg, think!
Years ago, they're saying that the Green Man also represents the death and rebirth of the entire planet. The hero's journey is about that specific apocalyptic event. At first I thought that
the hero's journey is an observation of comparative mythology.
All of these stories were talking about that specific event, that one time, 12,000 years ago. But I have a theory that each culture...
What the fuck? What do you think that event was? Was it another mud flood?
Also has separate stories that are very similar, talking about lesser events that happened after that, where there's either similar characters with different names, role reversals, or the same god but doing a completely different thing, representing the same basic idea. Here's where we have to trust artists' renditions of these characters.
No, you should not trust artists' renditions of these characters. It's an artist's rendition, so it's the artist's imagination of what this thing might look like or be, and, you know, artists take a lot of fucking liberties. A lot of the time, especially when they're not, like, do you think every artist depiction thinks these things are real? Do you think artist depictions are basically the same thing as fucking photographs? Again, this is how Jordan River thinks! What happened to you? Did you go to an ayahuasca retreat with Jordan and break your brain? Yeah, the Da Vinci Code. The Da Vinci Code is so much bullshit. Like, it's not even a good book. I have read it.
Presenting the same basic idea. Here's where we have to trust artists' renditions of these characters.
No, you do not trust them at all. You do not trust artist renditions of anything. It's just an artist rendition. They're not supposed to be scientifically accurate.
The Da Vinci Code, I mean, it's not a great movie, but it's a perfect example of the...
Oh, he's not even talking about the book. He's talking about the movie, and somehow my quality got cucked here. So he couldn't even read the goddamn book. He couldn't even read the fucking book.
Kind of coding that I'm talking about in art. Now, the hero's journey has a ton of elements, lots of things to juggle.
So, it's not a good movie, but it represents what you're talking about art being connected? What?
If you've seen the Da Vinci Code, I mean, it's not a great movie, but it's a perfect example of the kind of coding that I'm talking about in art. Now, the hero...
Yeah, and it's all bullshit. It's all made up. It's not even made up well. You didn't even read the fucking book, for one thing. He's like, you know that slop Dan Brown wrote? That's basically what I'm doing right now. Yeah, I know! And it's just as bad!
Hero's journey has a ton of elements, lots of things to juggle. It's basically impossible to get all of them into a single 90-minute movie. However, you may have noticed that Jesus...
Maybe you should have read the fucking book.
...is usually depicted wearing red and blue. Sometimes...
Yeah, because it's fucking Italian art, you dipshit. And that's what people, like, fucking wore back then. This is Italian Renaissance art. That was, like, the clothing of wealthy people when these paintings were made. It would be like us putting, like, Jesus in a nice-looking suit these days, you know? Or maybe like Gregorian-style clothes. If we depicted Jesus these days, it would be the equivalent of that. Of putting him in some shades and a sharp, you know, Gucci suit or something. That's what this is. It's 'cause it's Italian. That's why it's red and blue.
Sometimes he wears just one or the other, depending on the context. Like in this picture...
Depending on who painted it and when and in what culture. Well, how about we look up what Eastern Orthodox Jesus looks like? You know? I don't know, he's wearing yellow in that one. What about Ethiopian Jesus? Now, he looks quite a bit different when the Ethiopians depict him, huh? But we're supposed to trust, artist renderings, so I guess Jesus was black and he wore yellow robes now. So, I've contradicted you, I almost said Jordan again. I've contradicted you, Greg, now what? Look at Ethiopian Jesus. He's wearing orange in this one, now what? Yeah, let's look up Chinese Jesus. Oh, why he's only wearing white in this one? It's almost like every culture that has Christians all kind of depict Jesus as their race or their culture. It's kind of like that, you know? It's kind of like that's a thing that happens. Well, he's wearing orange again, so that's 2 for 2 for orange-wearing robe Jesus, and he's wearing yellow in that one, so which is right? Is it the Italian red and blue, or is it the Ethiopian and Chinese yellow and orange? But we have to trust artist depictions, right? Right, Jordan? I mean, Greg, you sounded an awful lot like Jordan these days. This is so stupid.
He's wearing blue and Satan is red. This is depicting the same...
Oh yeah, oh my god, yeah, you're right. Let's look up Mexican Jesus. The Catholics down there are nuts. Well, there's a good Mexican Jesus for you.
sort of confrontation, though. But red and blue are prominent colors in multiple religions, as well as green.
Yeah, red and blue are prominent colors everywhere because they contrast each other. You know how color theory works? You know how complements work?
Gold, purple, we'll get to those later. But color plays an important role in these stories. I know that this sounds silly, but the colors of his robe represent the colors of the sky. The adversary, the destroyer, the dragon, the phoenix.
You know, why don't you actually look up these Renaissance paintings you're talking about and, you know, read up on some art history about them and see why they actually look like that. Again, in most, like, Renaissance Italian paintings, Jesus is just dressed like a rich guy from the Italian Renaissance or a little earlier.
Whatever you want to call it. When it's here, it literally turns the entire sky red. And I don't mean like it glows red or it's like a sunset. I mean, it's a dramatic, drastic, dense red. And it undulates and dances because our sky is being pelted by highly electromagnetically charged plasma. Likely...
I have to start this over. What is he fucking talking about now?
In multiple religions, as well as green, gold, purple. We'll get to those later. But
oh, red and blue is common in multiple religions. Also, all of these other colors. Yeah, Greg.
But color plays an important role in these stories. I know that this sounds silly, but the colors of his robe represent the colors of the sky. The adversary, the destroyer, the dragon, the phoenix, whatever you want to call it. When it's here, it literally turns the entire sky red. And I don't mean like it glows red or it's like a sunset. I mean, it's a dramatic, drastic, dense red. And it undulates and dances because our sky is being pelted by highly electromagnetically charged plasma, likely from our own sun. We have an example of this happening culminating in a dramatic episode in August of 1859 known as the Carrington event. This was when the Earth was pelted by multiple, rapid, highly charged solar flares. And I think that the Carrington event holds a...
Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up. Days like these, I wish I was camera facing, because I'm just sitting here like frog blinking listening to this. The Carrington event of 1859. So let's look this up. The Carrington event was the most intense geomagnetic storm in recorded history, peaking on 1 to 2nd September 1859 during solar cycle 10. It created strong auroral displays that were reported globally and caused sparking and even fires in telegraph stations. Well, the fires were from the telegraph stations getting so many messages, it seems. It was a coronal mass ejection. So the sun ejaculated all over us. That's what it was. The sun colliding with the Earth's, not the sun, but the ejections from the sun colliding with the Earth's magnetosphere. The geomagnetic storm was associated with a very bright solar flare on the 1st of September in 1859. It was absorbed and recorded independently by British astronomers Richard Carrington and Richard Hodgson. Why does only Carrington get the credit? The first records of a solar flare. Okay, so this is the first time we observed a solar flare in history. It was visible in Cuba? Oh my god. Geomagnetic storm of this magnitude occurring today has the potential to cause widespread electrical disruptions and blackouts. Yeah, that is a concern. They wouldn't have had those problems back then. It probably didn't even affect anybody that much, you know? So it caused a bunch of auroras because of the... It wasn't plasma hitting us, though? What is a coronal mass ejection made out of? Probably, oh, I guess it is plasma. So it's plasma from the sun, like, basically colliding with our atmosphere and causing, like, aurora borealis at this time of year in this part of the country, localized entirely in the sky. Okay, so, and he's saying this is the phoenix or the dragon of Revelation coming to Earth? Somehow? I mean, it's just a solar flare, but it's a natural event.
At Direwolf181 sent a super chat. Green Man urban legend is sad. He was a real man.
Yeah, the other Green Man we're talking about was this guy who was like, he was very disfigured and blind, and he would go walking at night, and I guess people hitting him with flashlights thought he was glowing green, and people thought he was some kind of ghost or ghoul, but he was just a real dude who was just walking at night because, well, you know, he would probably get a lot of reactions to his appearance in the daytime.
At 5 Tar Sailor sent a super chat. Greg. And reading? Whoa. Slow down. Sigh.
You can read all day about Tataria, apparently.
At Hurtworks sent a super chat. I choose to view Jesus as that one animation that has him suplexing Judas cause has an FBI plant. At least it's cool, and closer to reality than this.
There you go. That's your religion now. And Cryo says, luckily for us, our ozone protected us from the extreme radiation. Oh, yes. I mean, I don't think people really understand we're surrounded by radiation all the time. You know? Like, they only think of radiation as, like, an extreme burst of it that will, like, destroy your body.
It's a clue or a hint as to what the ancient people were seeing in the skies 12,000 years ago. Everything I described with the undulating red sky.
Yeah, ancient people could have seen solar flares, yes? A natural event, okay?
Really happened in 1859. That was real. They got off easy back then. The worst that happened were telegraph lines were highly charged and it disrupted communications for a while. But if it happened today, it would not only knock out our entire satellite network, it would blast all of our technology. We'd be back in the...
There really isn't much we can do about it. If the sun decides to burp really hard, it could fuck up all of our electronics.
Satellite network. It would blast all of our technology. We'd be back in the 1800s overnight. But even though
Well, no, I'm sure we'd be able to repair the grid and shit, man. I mean, it's just gonna fry it a little bit. Like any electromagnetic pulse would.
Jesus wears red and blue, he clearly represents the green.
He wears red and blue because he represents the green man? Are you red-green colorblind? Also another Italian image, I believe. So...
The green man. So, if the Great Dragon satellite network, it would blast all of our technology. We'd be back in the 1800s.
You're right, Replica Rabble. Let's just destroy the sun. That will solve all of our problems.
But even though Jesus wears red and blue, he clearly represents the green man.
He doesn't have any green in him anywhere in any depiction of him ever, but he's the green man. But red and blue make green, right?
So, if the Great Dragon or the Destroyer or the Phoenix or whatever is the red flaming thing, what is the green thing? What does the green man represent?
It's funny because Satan's wearing green in this image you're showing. Why aren't you saying it's Satan now? Because this is an artistic depiction.
The aurora borealis. It's so obvious. The green man is the Earth's electromagnetic field, protecting us from solar events. Atheist author.
Dude, you didn't even prove the green man is some thing that's recognized throughout history. You didn't even prove that. So you can't even pivot to saying now it's a natural phenomenon that everyone is talking about. Like, how, what, I don't even know what to say.
Tunokit Official sent a super chat. One of my favorite games is loosely based on this.
Well, like solar flares fucking us up with the green man.
at Gordon Lemon 3738 sent a super chat. I guess TF2 represents the Green Man too.
Yeah, Piccolo is a green man. He represents Jesus, obviously. I mean, so obvious, guys. How do you not get it?
From Solar Events. Atheist author Richard Carrier suggests that the four Gospels were written in Greek play format, a hypothesis that I fully agree with. Now, Jesus spent 40 days and 40 nights in the wilderness, but that hardly denotes some sort of connection with nature. However, John the Baptist parallels Jesus in the Gospels. He's literally described as a wild man. He lives in the woods. He wears animal pelts. So when he anoints Jesus as the Son of God, that's visual language saying the guy that looks like the Green Man says this other guy is the Green Man. That's supposed to give him credibility. That's
How are you even, like, connecting these things at all? You're just making shit up to like, sound cool. This does sound like a Dan Brown book, though, I'll give you that.
That's what's being communicated through the visual language of the story. And then
the visual language of the story that is text. And you're just looking at a lot of Italian art based on that text.
John the Baptist, if you remember, his story ends with him being beheaded. Exactly like the Green Knight. Before the great apocalyptic event that's being
in a completely different scenario than the Green Knight was beheaded. You know, people got beheaded a lot in ancient times. It was kind of a common thing for us to do to each other. In fact, there are some people who still behead people a whole lot today.
Exactly like the Green Knight. Before the great apocalyptic event that's being represented through the crucifixion of Jesus, there's an earlier altercation where Satan...
What apocalyptic event? Just all the zombies popping out of the ground in just one of the Gospels? Is that what you mean? It's only one of the Gospels where anything drastic happens when Jesus is executed, and it's just like, oh, a bunch of zombies came out of the ground and were walking around and people saw them. And that's literally it. That's literally it. What did this have to do with the Gospels being written like Greek plays? Because if you don't know, Christianity is kind of very Greek in origin. The Greeks kind of took this Hebrew movement and, like, kind of turned it into their own thing, and, like, you know, the Gentiles kind of took it over, and that made Christianity, basically, you know? So it would make sense, because a lot of the New Testament is written in Aramaic, right? Not even Hebrew. It was non-Hebrew people that were basically getting into the early Christian movement.
Tests Jesus at the top of the earth. You get it? At the top of the earth. At the North Pole, where the Aurora Borealis is.
They were not at the North Pole. They were on a really big mountain.
Great Dragon briefly tests the Green Man. There's an early solar flare. It's a warning sign.
So, because Revelation, Satan is the dragon now? Oh, alright, okay.
The great event is imminent.
And the dragon is also a phoenix, according to you, even though that's a completely different thing?
Several hints that Jesus' death represents...
What about Jinn, then? What about Jinn? You don't seem to actually... You only ever seem to tap into Christianity, never Islam or Judaism, huh? Yeah, it's, Then the Aryan thing earlier, it's, yeah, it's painting a picture.
Is imminent. And there are several hints that Jesus is...
Oh, I'm sorry, I meant the Romans, I'm sorry. Yeah. But I suppose the Romans would take cues from Greek plays, right?
Death represent the apocalypse. Like in Matthew, it says that as soon as he dies, the earth opens up, and people rise from the dead. Now in Norse tradition...
Oh, he was talking about the zombies. Then you switch to the Norse? The Norse have nothing to do with this! You're talking about a Jewish religious movement that happened in ancient Palestine and then got taken over by Roman people. What do the Norse have to do with this? They were not close to this. They were not anywhere near this.
It's that Jesus' death represent the apocalypse. Like in Matthew, it says that as soon as he dies, the earth opens up, and people rise from...
Yeah, the book of Matthew is the really nutty one, and the book of John is the really extreme one, and the other two are just kind of normal. They contradict each other, interestingly enough.
The dead. Now, in Norse tradition, their apocalypse is known as Ragnarok. But there's also an earlier event that happens in Odin's story, where, just like Jesus, he's spread out, cross-legged against a tree, and he's stabbed in the heart.
Okay, you are cherry picking, because in most depictions of this, Odin, you know, plucks out an eye and hangs himself upside down from a tree. So did you flip this image over or something? He's usually, in most depictions, Odin is hanging upside down, and this was a way to gain wisdom. And he didn't die, and it has nothing to do with the apocalypse. Again, thank God I'm kind of into comparative religion.
But there's also an earlier event that happens in Odin's story, where just like Jesus, he's spread out, cross-legged against a tree, and he's stabbed in the heart with a spear, because Odin wants to experience death. And Odin also has a companion, the head of the god of wisdom. Again, a parallel to the Green Man.
This was his way of gaining wisdom, yes. I'm pretty sure the god of wisdom told him to do that.
Thor also represents the Green Man as well as Odin. If you,
I only smoked before stream, and I'm not smoking right now, but I might need to. Jesus Christ.
imagine Thor wielding his hammer above his head, just like the constellation Orion. Also, he has the Belt of Strength.
No, he has a belt, and he wears a hammer above his head, so he must be exactly like Orion. Okay, yeah, sure.
A Belt of Orion. Gilgamesh also fought.
Because no other cultures wore fucking belts back then.
A giant winged, horned dragon monster figure, as seen in this relief artwork depicting him in the pose
That looks more like a manticore, but alright.
of Orion. Notice that he's also carrying trident weapons. Tridents represent the 3 stars of the belt.
No. Where the fuck are you getting that from? You're saying tridents represent the 3 stars in the belt of Orion? A constellation that only existed in one culture? And definitely not Hindu culture. Tridents were just like an easy kind of stabby weapon to make.
I'm going to get more into the details of what's literally happening above us during the apocalypse, but what people are seeing essentially is like a red flamey thing and a massive electrical storm in the sky. And this would likely focus on the North Pole, where the cross star is. Zeus not only can turn into an eagle,
The star isn't above the North Pole, it's just from our vantage point. That star stays stationary. It doesn't literally. All the stars in the galaxy are rotating, and we are also rotating, but from our vantage point, the North Star appears to not move. It's just physics, Greg. It's just fucking physics, Greg!
is. Zeus not only can turn into an eagle, a lightning eagle.
Why is Zeus here? And what do you mean, lightning eagle? What lightning eagle?
That sounds familiar. But he
yeah, Zeus had a lot to do with lightning too, but he's not the same thing as Thor. What about the lightning gods in Japan? Lots of people had lightning gods because, you know, when thunderstorms would happen back in ancient times, people didn't know what the fuck was happening, and it was easy to believe there's some big person up there making a lot of noise, you know?
also fought Typhoeus. Typhoeus is the personification of volcanic forces, but he's represented as a winged god with multiple tentacles or tails.
Yeah, there was lots of winged deities back then, so...
The tentacles and tails represent different arcs of plasma coming down and attacking the Earth from space.
Citation needed. I'm not even gonna bother looking that one up. It's the burden, like, you remember how you used to be an actual skeptic? You know how the burden of proof is on you to give evidence for your claims? And, you know, extraordinary claims need extraordinary evidence, and claims without evidence can be rejected without evidence. You know? Do I need to hitch slap you, is what I'm asking?
The multiple legs or tentacles of Cthulhu. So picture...
Okay, well, some super chats come through before I express how fucking stupid what he just said is.
At Miss Jasmine 305 sent a super chat. So the Green Man is Jesus, and Jesus is the Aurora Borealis, and the Jesus Borealis is protecting us from the sun?
I guess.
At Belonic 111 sent a super chat. I guess I should be appreciative he hasn't discovered Gnosticism yet.
He kind of said something Gnosticy earlier, but...
At Miss Jasmine 305 sent a super chat. You're a green man. He's a green man. That's a green man. I'm a green man. Are there any other green men I should know about?
I am about to paint myself green and go running screaming into the woods because of... Greg, Cthulhu is a fictional character. Cthulhu is an ancient god made up by H.P. Lovecraft, who was a racist schizophrenic from Rhode Island. You're trying to say because this dragon fought by somebody has tentacles, that's kind of like the multi-armed deities of Hinduism, which is kind of like Cthulhu, which is a character that was made up in, like, what, the 1800s? What the fuck are you talking about? This might be more mind-rending than Jordan's Human History movie.
A shock jumping walrus 6744 sent a super chat. Veil. There it goes. My brain just stopped.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I blue screened there when he said Cthulhu. This was 4 years ago. Has he only gotten crazier? The 1920s, sorry. I always think Lovecraft is earlier than that. I always forget how contemporary he is. You know, it just seems weird. I feel like he should be further back with, like, Edgar Allan Poe or something.
Earth from space. The multiple legs or tentacles of Cthulhu.
So he says the multiple legs or tentacles of Cthulhu while showing Kali. Kali, the Hindu goddess.
So picture it. Zeus, the lightning god, fighting a giant winged tentacled fire god in the sky. That's the apocalypse. It's often implied that the dragon or the phoenix figure has multiple tails or tentacles. That may be plasma forming thick, structured arcs, like the effect that you get off of a Tesla coil, but bumped up to the planet.
That's not the same kind of plasma as a solar flare. Oh, God.
Planetary scale, almost as if the sky looks like the inside of a plasma ball toy. The hero's journey and the Green Man are represented in pop culture as well. The hero's journey will never die.
The hero's journey was just a formula written by Joseph Campbell. Very contemporary. It's very contemporary. And it's just an expression of comparative mythology. I don't know why people get so weird about the fucking hero's journey in so many different ways. It's not that deep. He's just observing how humans have written stories over the centuries.
Superman wears red and blue exactly like Jesus.
Cryo's like, now I understand why Shoe-On Head left, yeah.
Snyder, like, hammered it into our heads in Man of Steel that Superman represents Jesus. We get it.
Okay, this is fucking pop culture. Yes, Christianity is the most influential thing on Western culture. So yes, a lot of our storytelling tends to mirror Christianity. Hey, Billy Bacon is also here. Now we can have bacon. I need to have throwable bacon next, I suppose. We only have donuts. I'll just throw donuts again for now. We'll have to put some bacon into it some point. I'll make a bacon throwable maybe for next week.
We get it. And Zack Snyder was right.
I have time to make the donuts for the donuts. Should the bacon just sizzle, maybe, as a sound effect?
That's not an S. But it's also not a winding river. Though that might be a reference to the River Nile. It's actually...
Now you're just talking about actually fictional characters. I mean, with mythology and religion, you can say they're not strictly fictional. Sure. But now you're literally just talking about fictional characters made in contemporary times. Like, what the fuck?
Snake. It's a pyramid and a snake. And the pyramid is pointing down, which implies that he's an earthbound god. As in, he's Jesus. The snake is not only the same snake of death and rebirth that the Green Man holds, but the snake is the goddess...
Why do you got this goofy little gif going on when you're talking about this?
Wojat. The Wojat eye is often referred to as the Eye of Horus. Literally represents death and rebirth, as well as wisdom. And the snake goddess Wojat is a protective deity that defends Egypt.
And... that means what? Christopher Nolan used this as symbolism in his silly pop culture movie? Okay. Or is that Zack Snyder? I fucking forget which.
I bet you didn't know any of that about Superman. Spider-Man also wears red.
Breaks character, huh? Yeah, so you're just making up schizo connections again. Who the fuck cares?
I bet you didn't know any of that about Superman. Spider-Man also wears red and blue. His webs represent the Earth's
Breaks character. Is he trying to pretend that he doesn't actually believe all this? Because I don't believe you.
electromagnetic field catching plasma. But if you look at the model of the Earth's electromagnetic field in action, you notice how it takes the shape of a spider? Spider-Man is a reference to the Green Man, and most of his
Are you seriously? Are you trolling? Are you being a Poe right now? Are you trolling? You please tell me that you are.
his villains are green. Green Goblin is a green and purple
So why wouldn't a Green Goblin represent the Green Man then? He's literally a Green Man!
smiling figure. Like the Treasure Cat, he's just like the Joker. He fits the laughing man archetype perfectly. The
Cheshire Cat is usually depicted as purple.
laughing man is an esoteric concept. I think actually ties back to the laughing
Yeah, people with a scary grin on their face are scary, yeah?
Jesus, a Gnostic version of Jesus that existed probably well before the Roman Catholics got a hold of
Are you saying Jesus is evil now? What?
them. The Gnostics believed that while physically Jesus was being
There you go, Gnosticism, guys. We have Gnosticism, everybody. We have Gnosticism.
existed probably well before the Roman Catholics got a hold of him. The Gnostics believed that while physically Jesus was being tortured on the cross, spiritually he was off in some cave somewhere laughing, because it didn't mean anything. It was happening in the physical, but in the spiritual.
Is this actually a Gnostic belief, or did somebody just write a book called The Laughing Jesus? I don't really know, actually, but I don't trust anything he says to be accurate, so...
He was above it all. That's essentially what it means. The Catholics have a saint that's a joker as well, Saint Lawrence. He was actually martyred by the church. The Pope ordered his death, and he was cooked on a grill like a T-bone steak. His dying words were, "Flip me over. I'm well done on this side."
That's probably a made-up story.
Which got roaring laughter from the audience of people there to watch a guy burn to death.
Yeah, they didn't have TV back then, Greg. They had to do other things for fun.
Well, I found more than one example of St. Lawrence being depicted alongside Mary Magdalene, the
Okay.
woman that Jesus married.
No, he didn't, unless you're talking about, like, some really esoteric beliefs, but also, like, so what? The designer of this drinking fountain put a bunch of biblical saints and figures on it, so? So? What does it matter? Why does he think all these artist depictions are, like, a secret truth or something, and not just an artist being commissioned to make something with this theming?
That's not a coincidence. I think that
It
the
is.
Treasure Cat smile, or the Joker smile, is representative of a crescent moon shape, or a solar eclipse shape, because that seems to be depicted quite often alongside apocalyptic imagery. And imagine the ominous feeling you'd have when you see this big smiling figure in the sky, over top of you while chaos is happening here on Earth. That'd be pretty terrifying. I know it's kind of crazy to think of the Joker as a depiction of Jesus, but obviously he is the Green Man.
Yes, it is crazy. And, like, did you ever, like, go back and, like, read anything by the creators of Batman that they based the Joker on this Green Man medieval art thing? Because they probably didn't. Again, Greg. I almost said Jordan again. Greg. You're Greg. It's hard to tell the difference these days. Greg. The burden of proof is on you. You need to actually, like, give any evidence for this.
His purple coat is a blending of red and blue. Purple is the color of chaos. And purple
Well, I can't argue with that, can I?
also just happens to be one of the colors of the Aurora Borealis.
Wow!
In the Michael Keaton Batman movie, just like Jesus, Joker trolls the powers that be. He even hurts the banks by giving away free money. When the
What is with all of these fucking retards who think that pop culture is secretly telling them esoteric truths about the world? Why do they all think this? Is this like a Hollywood is the Illuminati thing? Like, why do you think this? Why do you think fucking Batman movies are telling you the secrets of the universe? Please go get checked. You need to be on some kind of medication, Greg.
bat jet appears in front of the moon, that's a representation of the great dragon. Batman, with his horns, represents the devil. This is the Mayan god of death. Batman is death. During this scene, Joker is spreading green gas across...
This is like something the Theorizer would come up with as like a complete shitpost, you know?
Across the city, representing the Earth's electromagnetic field. The Great Dragon descends down into the green fog. The Green Man defeats the Great Dragon, causing him to fall from the sky.
Are you telling me Tim Burton was like secretly telling us like about Gnosticism in his fucking Batman movies? Is this what you're trying to tell me?
But despite his victory, he still dies at the hands of the Great Dragon. And while his body lay there dead and motionless, he continues to laugh. And the latest Joker movie, the one that I love so much, obviously represents a lot of the same
Of course you love that movie. We live in a society, don't we, Greg?
concepts. But the guy that plays the Joker, Joaquin Phoenix, his name is Joking Phoenix.
So what you want me to believe is that the makers of the new Joker movie, I forget who directs it. What you want me to believe is that the director of the new Joker movie hired Joaquin Phoenix specifically to make some comment, not even about Gnosticism, about this weird little conspiracy theory that you just made up, where you link phoenixes and the red dragon from Revelation together, which nobody else in history does. Like, seriously, do you have schizophrenia? Like, how old are you? That face, like, bro, even you can't possibly believe this. I don't think he's joking, though, Alandus. I don't think he's joking. That's the weird thing. Like, he says he is, but... Like, sometimes he tries to indicate he doesn't actually believe all this, but, like, then why is he making this fucking video? This isn't even a real conspiracy theory. This isn't even real New Age or mysticism. This is literally something he just made up.
I could do a whole episode about how Star Wars is about the apocalypse, but just
Please
some
don't.
examples. The lightsabers obviously represent the battle between red and blue, and in the end, when Luke fights Vader, it's...
Wow, the bad guy has a red weapon while the good guy has a blue or a green weapon. I wonder what that could indicate. That was so dumb I had to go full red letter media. Oh, good. The video is stalling. See, I'm not ripping off Deadwing Dork. We're both ripping off Red Letter Media, okay? We're both ripping off Mike Costata, whatever the fuck his name is.
His name is Joking Phoenix.
I want to hit your head into a wall right now. Or maybe
I could
my
do a whole
head. I haven't
episode
decided.
about how Star Wars is about the apocalypse. But just some examples. The lightsabers obviously represent the battle between red and blue. And in the end, when Luke fights Vader, it's green. And then after defeating him with the green lightsaber, he then sacrifices himself for his father, allowing himself to be defeated by purple lightning.
Did he allow that, though? I haven't seen the OG trilogy in a while.
One way to describe the keyhole shape is a representation of the alpha.
You never proved this was a key, and why are we just jumping back to this now? What did anything you just say have to do with that?
And the omega. The pyramid shape on the bottom half is the A, and the domed top half is an...
I want to know what he took to come up with all of this.
Oh, I know that this sounds dumb, but...
Yeah, well, what about Yoda? Is he the Green Man? Chat's right. Yeah, come on!
How many ways that this shape is incorporated into different things in pop culture and even religion.
It's a big cat that looks like a cat's ass, and it looks like half the side fell off. It's a cat, Greg.
There are so many secret references to the Alpha and the Omega, like a UFO beaming up a cow, the saucer.
This is too retarded to even rebut.
Is the Omega, and the beam is the Alpha. The Phoenicians too had their own Alpha and Omega keyhole symbol, which cleverly looked like an eye. I also like...
I'm pretty sure that's just the sun. It's a common way to depict the sun.
The Stairway to Heaven image. This even ties the Sphinx to the Jacob's Ladder concept. Some people even consider this a symbol of the rapture, something you might see in the sky pulling you up. It's also often depicted through a rising sun symbol.
Yeah, almost like it's a sun symbol most of the time, Greg. You dumb motherfucker.
If you imagine the top half being the sun rising above the horizon, and the bottom half, the A, being light reflecting off
Oh my god, the green man is in chat right now, everybody!
of the ocean. But those are just ways that the symbol are cleverly integrated into art and religion. What does
Are you gonna say Illuminati stuff? Are you gonna, is this where this is going? Illuminati, is that where this is going? Like, all of pop culture is secretly telling you the secrets of the universe to mock you because your fucking schizophrenia told you so?
the symbol actually represent? This is the fun part.
He's definitely an Omega, yeah.
The green man is tied to fertility, a very important aspect
Wow, a nature god is tied to fertility. That's totally original.
of growing crops and raising livestock. Remember that the Giza Plateau is a garden. Osiris, the green god of the Garden of Eden, had a golden phallus, implying his ability to promote fertility.
But he lost his dick. That makes him pretty infertile, don't you think? He's just... God. Yeah, you didn't even prove that the Giza Plateau is the Garden of Eden. You claimed that earlier, you said nothing about it, and now you're just saying it's the Garden of Eden again. What is your evidence?
implying his ability to promote...
Even if this was a fictional story, there's so many plot holes, so I'm still gonna critique it that way, too!
fertility. But Osiris's golden phallus is an important element of the Giza Plateau story, and it ties together with the green man's golden snake of death and rebirth. Remember again how 12,000 years...
Or, you know, men have just always been obsessed with their own dicks for thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
Years ago, the Sphinx would point at the sun and Leo during the summer solstice, and at that same time, the pyramids would line up with the constellation Orion. Well, the Sphinx pointed at Leo, but that's not what it was lined up with. Leo would have been several miles away. Look where the Sphinx is in orientation with the pyramids. The
pyramids were built after the Sphinx. Okay, so you're saying the Sphinx is Orion's dick. Alright, that's cool.
Adbalonic111 sent a super chat. He and Jordan are straying closer to dimensional merge territory.
I know, they're becoming the same person. It's so weird.
At Miss Jasmine305 sent a super chat. Superman and Spider-Man are the Green Man / Jesus, not their green villains. But Batman isn't, and the Joker gets to be Jesus. He's just a Joker fanboy.
I don't even know.
47 sent a super chat. Batman with his horns represent the devil. Or you know a bat.
Yeah, fucking bat. They're not horns, they're bat ears, stupid.
At Hellkite47 sent a super chat. He is gish galloping.
He
Spewing
is.
so much shit so fast you can't debunk him. By the time you debunked 1 point, he's spit out 7 more.
And you know, Gish galloping comes from Dwayne Gish, who was a creationist, and that was his debate, quote-unquote, technique, to just spew as much bullshit as humanly possible so his opponent's time would be completely wasted debunking him, and they wouldn't be able to make their own points. That's the purpose of a Gish gallop.
At Direwolf181 sent a super chat. So he's saying he's the secret Omegaverse girly?
I'm saying if the Omegaverse was real, he would be Omega. And thank you, Casual Pearls, for 5 gifted subs. As I said earlier, if you get hit by the gifted sub fairy today, you can go to Discord, connect your Discord and your YouTube accounts, and it should just dump you right in my Discord server.
The Sphinx lines up with the Orion Nebula. The Sphinx?
Orion is not a nebula. It's a constellation. It's a series of stars in the sky that we say, hey, that looks like a little man. Yeah, it's not a nebula. You don't know space terms, I see, as unfortunately many such cases.
The pyramids. The Sphinx lines up with the Orion Nebula. The Sphinx is Osiris's golden penis. The face of the Sphinx is the face of Osiris. That's the Green Man, if you don't believe me.
Okay, let's, Let's look up what the origins, people believe the Sphinx. Sphinx statue, I should probably say, huh? I could fucking spell today. He's broken my fucking brain. Oh, it doesn't automatically correct my misspelling like, like fucking Google will. Fine, we'll just go to Google. Sphinx statues. Tell me about it, please. Where did it come from? The Great Sphinx. Yes, that's what I want to know. A history article. Hooray! It's a giant 45,000-year-old limestone statue situated near the Great Pyramid of Giza. I thought it was older than that. The Great Sphinx is one of the world's largest monuments. It is also one of the most recognizable relics. What is the Sphinx? Ah, get out of here. A Sphinx is a creature with the body of a lion, the head of a human, and with some variations. It is a prominent mythological figure in Egyptian, Asian, and Greek mythology. In ancient Egypt, the Sphinx was a spiritual guardian, and most often depicted as a male with a pharaoh headdress, as is the Great Sphinx, and figures of creatures were often included in tomb and temple complexes. For instance, the so-called Sphinx Alley in Upper Egypt is a 2-mile avenue that connects the temples, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I just want to know what the Sphinx is for. In Greek traditions, they have wings. How old is the Sphinx? So it's definitely for a temple. Nothing that it's a giant penis, so far. Some theories suggest the face of the Sphinx actually resembles Khufu, and therefore Khufu built the structure. Alternatively, Pharaoh Djedefre? I'm not good at pronouncing Egyptian. Khafre's older half-brother and Khufu's other son built the Great Sphinx in commemoration of his father. Other theories hold that the statue depicts Amenemhat II. Based on the style of the stripes and the Sphinx's head cloth, some scientists also contend the Great Sphinx is far older than is widely believed based on the potential age of the causeways and various patterns of erosion of the statue. Yeah, I have heard that it could be much older than we think it is. So yeah, more than likely it was built to commemorate a pharaoh, given that it is wearing a pharaoh's headdress. So, yeah, that's a pretty easy one to debunk there, buddy.
At Casual Pearls sent a super chat. What even is the theory? I'm confused. Lol.
Jesus is the Green Man seems to be the main theory.
At 5 Tower Sailor sent a super chat. Orion is a constellation, but there is a nebula inside it called the Orion Nebula. Two different but related celestial structures.
Nah, thank you for the correction. So yeah, but it still isn't related to the constellation, so Greg is still wrong and I'm still right.
A perfect example of this is one of the oldest Greek and Mysian gods, the god of gardens. And do you see what prominent feature he displays?
Yes, like I said, men throughout history have been obsessed with their own dicks. We know.
That's right. He has a silly hat. Fertility
and a very uncircumcised penis.
This is tied to that exact same fascination with the phallus that the coneheads displayed in my...
Or every culture ever, because you men are like this. This is a very male-centric view of history as well.
Conehead video. They were absolutely obsessed with fertility and prowess. And to just absolutely nail...
Yeah, people were obsessed with fertility in the times where you had to have like 8 fucking kids for at least 2 of them to survive to adulthood, yeah.
Oh, my point home. Let's go to southern England, where there's an ancient Celtic giant on a hillside they say is wrapped in mystery. What could it be? Who could have built it? This green giant happens to be...
You have lines like this all over the fucking world. It's not a green giant just because the grass is green. I'm sure in other times of the year it's not so green. You can't call this green.
They say is wrapped in mystery. What could it be? Who could have built it? This green giant happens to be wielding a weapon above his head, just like the constellation Orion.
Just like how you use most melee weapons, Greg.
And just like the green god Osiris, just so happens to have a giant phallus that's pointing in the general direction of the summer solstice sun.
So maybe this is a solstice thing. Also, Osiris's dick doesn't point to the solstice sun, and it's a golden phallus, So you've dropped that part of the story. Now just Eddie Penis is Osiris, apparently.
You get it yet?
No! I don't get anything you're saying! I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
You're looking at the Green Man.
No, I am not! God, we might just get stuck on this one video.
Scholars believe that the pyramids of Giza are mentioned twice in the Bible. Once as the mountains of the West, and again as the mountain of God.
That doesn't prove anything.
It's no wonder that the ancient people would have seen these structures as godly mountains. Every ancient religion venerated mountains and hills and mounds, using them as the place to communicate.
Oh my god, you dumb motherfucker! The pyramids are tombs for pharaohs, and pharaohs were considered living gods. So yes, of course the pyramids are associated with godhood. It has nothing to do with them looking like mountains, so that's probably not what was being referred to. Are the Egyptians even mentioned in the Bible outside of, oh, they enslaved the Israelites, even though we know they totally didn't do that in history at all? You know, like you have Ethiopians mentioned, I guess, but the Egyptians hardly ever factor in after the Old Testament, right? What do you mean? Ah!
Communicate with God. Like Mount Olympus, mountains are where the gods lived.
Well, yeah, because, again, reptile brain, big mystical humans live in high place we can't get to. First it was mountains, then it was the sky, now it's space, because as we keep going higher and higher and realizing there's no big people up there, we have to keep pushing the mythical big people further back.
The electricity that the pyramids generated was part of their religion, and as I described in the earlier video, the higher up that they could build a structure, the more electricity that it could generate. So
Now the pyramids produced electricity? This is some Ben Carson, the pyramids are grain silos bullshit. Now you're gonna talk about the Tower of Babel, which didn't exist?
Earlier video, the higher up that they could build a structure, the more electricity that it could generate. So to decode the meaning of the story of Babylon, which happens right after the flood, humanity gathered in one place to build their own tower to reach heaven, basically dictating their own terms as to where God's throne was going to be. God punished them for this by destroying the tower and spreading humanity across the globe.
And made them all speak different languages. It's a mythological story explaining why humans all speak different languages. That doesn't make it accurate to history or anything.
Now, a little Bible tidbit for you Bible geeks out there. Deuteronomy 32:8. It says that after this happened, God separated the nations and the sons of Adam according to the number of the children of Israel. And that doesn't make any sense because Israel doesn't exist yet. Abraham has...
Okay, so the tribes of Israel were the Hebrews, my guy. And of course, since the Old Testament is Hebrew religious text, they only really give a shit about their own people, and they don't give a shit about those other people over there. It's very tribalistic because it was written in the fucking Iron Age. So of course they're like, we're the chosen ones of gods, us Israelites, we're the chosen ones of gods, our tribes, we're the only ones getting into heaven because we're the special ones and everybody else is shit, and they all come from like evil gods and incest, and we can just invade them and kill all of them and take their young women as wives for ourselves because we're the chosen ones, you know. It was just tribalism, my guy. But yes, it's of questionable historicity if a country called Israel ever did actually exist. Yes, I do agree with that.
Hasn't even been born yet. So, turns out in the Dead Sea Scrolls, what it originally said was, God separated everyone according to the number of the sons of God.
Sons of Adam and sons of God are the same fucking thing, you dumb motherfucker! And the Dead Sea Scrolls are apocryphal.
Sons of God were the Denisovin, the Coneheads.
The sons of God were definitely the subspecies of humans that wouldn't have existed anymore when the Dead Sea Scrolls were written. Okay.
This is why the exact same story is told in every religion.
Okay, well, in my defense, Cryo, I'm streaming and I'm really hungry, but also, I guess I mean more, were the pyramids actually mentioned in the Bible? I don't think they are.
The Bible is recognizing that this was the time that the Coneheads spread this story across the globe. So
The Dead Sea Scrolls are not part of the Bible, for one thing. And Sons of Adam, Sons of God, Israelites, that's all interchangeable. They're talking about all the same people, the tribes of Israel that came out of Canaan and Babylon. You know, the Hebrews, the Jews, that's what they're talking about, the Jews, dumbass.
So fast forward to the very end of Egyptian culture, right before its collapse at the end of the Bronze Age. The Phoenicians all of a sudden show up, and a lot of people attribute them to the collapse of Egypt, but that's not entirely true.
The Phoenicians suddenly I don't know enough about this. I can't be asked to look it up right now.
But the Phoenicians are like, yo, guys, I love your language.
Maybe we'll watch the Conehead video next. We'll maybe get 2 videos in. Dear God, he is a wellspring of content, though, for Friday streams, isn't he?
So cool. But wouldn't it be neat that instead of these intricate drawings, we replace them all with these easily sketchable lines so that we can write sentences extremely quickly and communicate so much more efficiently? So they create this new language, Egypt collapses, the Phoenicians slow motion walk away from Cairo while the pyramids...
Well, I mean, tons of other cultures controlled Egypt for a long time. Like, some Egyptian pharaohs weren't even Egyptian, ethnically. Like Cleopatra.
Pyramids explode in the background, rock music blasting as they're carrying their new language in a briefcase. But then they start traveling across the entire...
You really are like pop culture brain rotted, aren't you?
Mediterranean, even other parts of the globe. And they teach new languages to all of the cultures that they meet based on the original language that they created in Egypt, making a new distinct language for each individual culture.
So everyone spoke the same language until the Phoenicians showed up in Egypt and then went around deliberately teaching everybody different languages. Is that what you're saying to me? You don't know anything about language development, do you?
And a lot of things come along with language. Religious concepts, philosophical concepts, the ability or inability to articulate complex concepts.
I mean, we had religious beliefs before we even had language, I'm sure.
I know what I'm about to say sounds silly, but I'm leaving it for the end because...
because everything else you said before now sounded completely rational and normal. Now he's gonna get silly, apparently. I fear what you're gonna say next.
The most important part. This is the oldest letter in the alphabet. The Phoenicians called it the wow, or whoa. It's based off of the Egyptian hieroglyph of a bird.
Okay.
Though it's quite the stretch to imagine that this is that same bird. Whereas
almost like it's a stretch to imagine anything you said here is accurate.
The Egyptian looks like it's standing sideways. The Phoenician crane...
Most Egyptian shit was facing sideways. Have you seen Egyptian art and hieroglyphs? Most stuff is like inside profile. What do you mean?
Looks like it's flying vertically with its wings straight out. This is the Great Phoenix. There are...
It's not a phoenix, it's an abstraction of a hieroglyph. Because that's how a lot of written language developed. It went from pictorial languages to more abstract iconography languages. I don't have time to explain, like, the history of language development to you, and I don't know enough about it myself.
Are literally a quadrillion depictions.
And why do you keep bringing up fucking phoenixes? Phoenixes are not part of Egyptian culture.
Of the Great Phoenix in this pose. Sometimes a letter Y.
Horus wasn't a phoenix. He was like a hawk or something. A falcon. Look at him.
Sometimes a J. Guys, this is the exact same pose that Jesus is making on the cross.
That's... It's just a way to execute people, because you fucking die hanging like that for that long.
He is the wow, and the epistemology of the meaning of
So you're saying he's the Word, and the Word was with God in the beginning? You are just turning into a Christian then, aren't you?
words is really as simple as people saw something crazy and said, wow, whoa, look at that.
You've got to be trolling. Please tell me you're trolling. You cannot be this retarded. Wow and whoa are English expressions. Very modern ones. Oh my god, this Phoenician letter in ancient times was pronounced wow. That must be like saying wow in English today, right? Like, my god, you cannot be... Please tell me you cannot be fucking serious. Like, even as a fictional story, that's so stupid.
And now when we draw that thing, we say, wow. The star of Bethlehem was not just a sign of the Messiah. It was also a sign of the apocalypse. Every time the Messiah comes, the world recycles.
Oh yeah, we're waiting for that apocalypse. We're waiting for the rapture any day now. It's only been 2,000 and some odd years, but it's gonna happen any time now.
The entire story of the Messiah, from birth to death and rebirth, is the story of the apocalypse. But you're gonna have to follow up with me in part 2 to hear more of my thoughts about what actually happens during the apocalypse.
I don't think I can handle that tonight, to be honest.
And a deeper dive into some of the symbolism behind it.
I don't think it is satire, though, but given some of the other stuff he says and how he actually believes in Tartaria, I don't think it is satire. If it was satire, it would be funnier, for one thing.
Next time, we solve the riddle of the Sphinx.
I literally thought he was gonna say, but that's just a theory.
A lot of you noticed that I've been going kind of heavy on the Jesus imagery on...
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. How long until he starts thinking he actually is Jesus? How long do you think? Before he goes completely insane and declares himself Jesus? Oh my god.
social media the last couple years. I'm going to explain what more of this symbolism means in part 2. But some of you are wondering, like, am I hinting at something? Am I trying to say something? Well, you figured it out, folks. It's true. I am the golden penis.
See, that wasn't even funny, so... It's just for fun, but you'd believe it? Greg sweating. It's just for fun! He hearted that one, so... The series is like listening to the homeless guy on the street corner rant, and I love it. Uh-huh. Like, he's like, oh, I'm just a goofy guy. I'm totally just trolling. But I don't think he is. I really don't think he is.
At SoreHeart520 sent a super chat. I wish I had a time machine so we can have definitive answers to all these questions we have from history.
I mean, people would still be biased at what they're looking at, you know, even if we
A
did.
Dutch Tunicate official sent a super chat. Man tax. I am sorry for us.
Yeah, you should be. I'm just kidding, thank you.
At Belonic111 sent a super chat. Reminder that humans are so good at pattern recognition that we are actually too good at it. We see patterns where there aren't any sometimes.
Mm-hmm. It's called pareidolia. So, like, basically, our monkey brains are constantly looking for patterns, because it's just our instinct, it's how we survive. So we will just hallucinate patterns where there are none, and you have to be kind of aware of that to stop yourself from magical thinking. Okay, Greg, do you have any shorter videos I could look at, for the last half-hour stream today? Did NASA film UFOs? I wish I could sort by length. Maybe we'll look up some alien stuff. Some more normal kookiness. Come on, don't you have any short ones? 8 years ago. Is this like in his transition phase? Before he went totally crazy? Oh my god, Alex Jones is here. Okay, I'm clicking on this one. Let's see what this is. Oh god, that's loud.
We all have our
Now see, this is how he used to present himself, with this character that was a ripoff of Logic.
guilty pleasures. Fitness fanatics love cake, 4chaners love anime, Catholic priests love bang.
Yeah, see, this is back when he was more of an edgy boy.
And I, the goddamned Armoured Skeptic, love conspiracy videos. Whoa, 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 okay, come back. I'm not saying I believe any of them. I'm
Turning to look at the camera like I'm in the office. So this was 8 years ago, so maybe we could trace his downward spiral into conspiratardation.
appreciate the art form. Let me explain. Conspiracy
Sure you do.
videos are more than just a deconstructive study of scientific theories and historical events. Oh no, they're a roller coaster ride for your brain. They have this magical way of exploiting your lack of personal knowledge of the universe and attack your trust in information that you've learned from authorities like physicists.
So exactly what he was doing in that last video we watched. This is fascinating.
Historians, archaeologists, NASA. They pull that rug out from under you and make you question the very nature of the universe. You get this nice little dopamine high while your mind gets blown and you try to put the pieces back together. And a nice...
I think we're learning a lot about how he ended up down this path, actually. This was a good choice.
little feeling of euphoria during that brief moment of superiority when you feel you've ascended to a higher level of understanding. However,
Oh my god, I think him 8 years ago would have beaten up him 4 years ago.
they all eventually trip over their own crappy logic and the whole house of cards collapses, ruining your trip and...
Wow, imagine that! Just like how your whole story in the previous video we watched of you 4 years after this did exactly that. Like the whole thing just fell apart. Because you were just pulling shit out of your ass. Wow, this is fascinating.
they all eventually trip over their own crappy logic and the whole house of cards collapses, ruining your trip and...
We're gonna have to pinpoint the exact moment he tipped over in some future stream, I think.
forcing you to crash back into reality.
Back to reality. Oop, there goes
That's
gravity.
the whole
Oop.
point, to exercise my skepticism skills. Every once in a while, a subject
His skepticism skills, guys. I'm starting to wonder if you ever had any.
comes along that no matter how hard I try, I can't quite dismiss it. And that is exactly what this series will focus on. Like Aristotle said, it is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it.
Oh, good. So I must be highly educated to not accept any of the bullshit coming out of your mouth.
Well, I'm not educated, but let's do this anyways.
We know. We know. We know, Greg. It's very evident. See, I can call him Greg because he just puts his real name out there. My last name's Fleur.
Confusing and miraculous objects in the sky, sometimes described as glowing orbs. Others say they are metallic discs, hovering for extended periods of time over cities or airports,
Oftentimes they're just birds.
or making impossible maneuvers at high Mach speed.
No, he's trying to say he's playing a character, but I really don't think he is.
Eluding radar and confusing pilots. UFOs, or unidentified flying objects, have made people wonder about our place in the universe. But
See, I say this every time, but unidentified flying object doesn't automatically mean extraterrestrial. It could be very terrestrial. It could be an experimental aircraft from a foreign nation, or even our own nation, and you just don't know what you're looking at. What's up, Senshini? Yes, you came for a Greg stream. I have a feeling we're going to be watching Greg a lot on Fridays.
are UFOs real? Yes.
Yes, but they're not necessarily
Okay,
extraterrestrial.
Yes. Unidentified flying objects or unidentified aerial phenomenon are real in that people see things that they can't identify, and this is something that is observed somewhat regularly. But what are they exactly?
So that's why they're bringing out the UFO stuff and all the rest of it. We know they've got aircraft for 50 years that do the stuff that these jets are seeing. And these fighter pilots are like flying 1950s technology.
The 1990s was the peak of my interest in UFOs. I was convinced that aliens existed and that those things that people were seeing in the sky were visitors from far away.
Well, yes, there is possibly other life in the universe. The likelihood that it can visit us is very low.
Remember, in 1997, Fox had a show hosted by Star Trek's Jonathan Frakes, UFOs, the best evidence ever caught on tape. But with
Yeah, we had a big UFO craze on TV in the 90s and the 2000s. That's when the History Channel started showing UFO shit.
the advent of modern technology, most of these sightings are
Yeah, he used to use nothing but this ping tuber, and then he went. It seems to be like people who started as ping tubers and then moved to face cam all went crazy or something. So I should never have a face cam. Is the lesson I'm learning.
less impressive today. A lot of the stuff we were shown on TV back then was clearly early drone technology and clever computer effects. Both things we all understand today, but not that long ago weren't common knowledge. I'm forced to accept that most of these sightings are misidentified military technology or
Yes.
secret military technology that's slightly
Okay, so now we know that 8 years ago he was still somewhat sane. Okay.
ahead of what we know as modern technology. Like those mysterious black
Oh, Star Sailor's giving me something interesting
At
here.
5 Tower Sailor sent a super chat. He actually used to be a conspiracy nut before he started making debunk videos. He made a video about it back in the day. He might have deleted. I used to be a fan back then. He slid back into it.
I don't think I was a fan per se, but I did watch him, but maybe he just entered the debunking scene because he wanted to be one of the cool kids. Like I said, his ping tuber is still kind of a ripoff of Logic, and Logic is the GOAT. I still watch him.
triangular craft that people used to see all over the place, but not
In fact, Logic is what inspired my streaming performance style, where I just argue with the video like it's a conversation. I totally aped that from him.
everything is so easily explained. Recently, the debate about UFOs was reignited in the mainstream. On December 16th, the New York Times published an article featuring a video that shows what they describe as an unknown object.
Okay, it's unknown.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the SA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. The whole thing, dude.
That is said it's a drone.
That's not LNS though, is it? It's not. It is LNS, dude. Well, if there's like anything, it's rotating.
They claim that this short clip was released to them by the United States Department of Defense and is part of a much longer video. 2 days later, the Washington Post published a similar article, this time focusing on a 2004 incident where a US Navy pilot saw a flying Tic Tac over the ocean. Both articles were about the same thing though. Between 2007 and 2012, the US government spent $22 million on an advanced aerial threat program designed to identify and intercept UFOs.
Well, yeah, because a lot of them are probably from China and Russia spying on us, you know? I mean, that's Occam's razor. That's the more likely explanation.
Retired Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid supposedly approved the program and oversaw its initiation. The money, at least in most part, went to Robert Bigelow, billionaire eccentric known for his aerospace engineering company, as well as his fascination with UFOs. Joe Rogan even did a segment about Bigelow's Utah ranch on
Oh boy, Joe Rogan.
You can expect anything from Bigfoots to orbs. You've seen Bigfoot?
It's kind of confusing that this information is being released to the public at all, seeing as it is supposedly a black program. Black programs are top secret programs that use black money, or unrecorded, undocumented funds from the US military budget, so as to hide their existence and their scale. Realistically, they never had to tell us about this. It could have remained secret forever. On top of that, other than some vague, unimpressive documents that have been released through Freedom of Information and eyewitness accounts of military pilots, the US government has never really confirmed the existence of UFOs before. So, why are they
Well, not as extraterrestrial craft, no, but yes, unidentified flying objects exist, because if you see a flying object and you can't identify it, it is definitionally an unidentified flying object.
telling us about this now? Why this sudden decision to disclose their interest in this phenomenon? First, we should take a look at what material was actually disclosed. The first video certainly appears astonishing. The object in focus is hard to make out, but looks somewhat unearthly. Similar in shape to the classic flying saucer, only upside down. The crew
How? How is it similar to a flying saucer?
aboard the FA-18 act shocked and excited about what they're seeing. They speculate
And they call
that
it
it
a
might be a
drone.
drone, confused at the way that it appears to rotate. We hear that a separate display indicates that there's an entire fleet of similar objects. This video gets a 5 out of 10 on the creepy scale, but when you break it down, it loses its magic pretty quickly. Though we are told this clip was released by the Department of Defense, there's no other information about it, like where and when this incident took place, the names
Look, he used to ask for citations. Look at that. Just, what was this again? 8 years ago, he was saying, oh, well, we can't find the source of where this evidence actually came from, so we can't really see it as reliable. And now, 4 years ago, he's like, paintings are basically photographs that prove history.
Of the crew have also not been released, including any eyewitness testimonies. This is being filmed on an infrared camera, so the amorphous shape is actually an indication that whatever they're chasing is letting off a lot of heat. Almost like it's being directed towards the camera, like the flame that comes out of the back of a jet. If you track the motion, the object basically takes a straight path. The FA-18 is the one that's changing direction. But what about the fact that the object rotates? Well, the rotation that we see is likely a result of the casing around the camera rotating. The infrared camera is mounted on a double gimbal system, allowing it to rotate and point in any direction. We see similar rotating heat signatures in other military videos. Putting glass in front of an infrared camera and moving it around duplicates the effects. If you follow the jet's approach, you see that the object rotates while the jet is turning into position behind it. That's perfectly consistent with the way that the gimbal camera casing would spin.
And then you can't figure this out for, like, the North Star 4 years later. Seriously, did you have massive brain damage or something? Or was debunking just a grift to you, and now conspiracy theories are a more lucrative grift, so now you're doing that? I don't understand.
To accommodate the jet's angle of approach. And that's the final clue. The video is titled Gimbal, as if the focus of the video is the gimbal camera and not the target. It's almost as if this is a training exercise and the crew are either rookie pilots training to use this tracking system for the first time, or this is just the first time that this tracking system was ever tested. This video teaches—
Where was this rigor in the video we just watched earlier that's 4 years after this? Where was this rigor there?
Is us nothing other than the fact that there are some easily amused aircrew. So what about the Nimitz incident?
Cryo says, yeah, most of them were drones from China and Russia. Somebody used to be in the military. That is me. Yeah, most of these weird lights we see in the sky are probably fucking spy drones.
Both airplanes see disturbance in the water and a white 40-foot long tic-tac shaped object. There's no rotor wash, there's no wings, nothing. So as we go down—
Well, that's what I've been joking about in videos. Like, well, what did Shoe on Head do to this man? I'm not actually blaming her, it's just a bit, but still.
And when we get to the 12 o'clock position, it starts to mirror us, so it's in a clockwise flow and it's on the opposite side of the circle from us. I get over to the 8 o'clock position, it's at about the 2 o'clock position, and I decide I'm going to go and see what it is, and it's about 2,000 feet below me, and I cut across the circle, and as I get within about a half mile of it, it rapidly—
I love how we have Tucker Carlman here squinting, because just like me, he doesn't understand a goddamn word this guy is saying.
Accelerates to the south in about 2 seconds and disappears.
This time we have a pilot, which means we get a testimony, which already makes this more credible than the other video. This particular story has recently been confused with the New York
very
Times
uncomfortable
video.
on
Several
camera.
news outlets have interviewed former Navy pilot David Fravor beside the wrong footage. This is the Nimitz video. This video seems to fit the description of the pilot. The infrared camera is focused on an object that's giving off an oblong—
Oh, so they weren't even showing the right footage for what that guy was describing.
heat signature. Based on Fravor's testimony and the readings on the heads-up display, this is when the FA-18 was approaching straight towards the object. As you can see, it shoots off to the left so quickly that the tracking system can't maintain a lock. Okay, that is pretty interesting.
You're right, we need to make debunking conspiracies griftable again. You guys better send more super chats. I'm kidding.
Have what seems to be a vehicle of some sort, behaving in a way that is not consistent with the abilities of known human technology. But on its own, this incident doesn't tell us—
Yeah, not known not known to you. Probably known to the militaries of the world, though.
us much.
I believe, as do the other folks that were on the flight that when we visually saw it, that it was something not from this world.
It is certainly compelling to hear an accomplished military officer state that he personally believes this is an alien craft, but that doesn't mean that it is.
What's driving that?
Oh my god, where is this Greg? What happened to this Greg from 8 years ago? Who has, simple logic?
It's not a space alien.
It's unidentified. Just because you don't know what it is you're looking at doesn't mean it's intelligent aliens visiting from another planet.
Yes.
You just said you don't know what you're looking at. So it's not, you cannot, as a next sentence, say, therefore it must be anything.
This video is quite a good tease. Paired with the testimony, this is a good 7 out of 10 on the creepy scale, but again leaves me wanting something more substantial. Though the pilot describes this as a white tic-tac, and the shape on the video confirms that, we can't really see the damn thing. What is this? It is impressive that it shoots off too quickly for the camera to follow, and it looks like it's behaving unlike anything we know of, but we have to remember the context of this video. This was shot in 2004. The Raytheon's ATFL-IR system didn't exist yet, at least not in its current form. As a bonus, I'll throw in this footage that comes from a Chilean military helicopter. This video was supposedly filmed 2 years ago and was released to the public after the Chilean government supposedly did an investigation and had exhausted their resources trying to identify the object. This is being called the best UFO proof ever. The camera can't seem to see the object in regular light, but gets this nice big heat blob in the infrared spectrum, along with intermittent heat streams. When I first saw this, it was a 9 out of 10 on the creepy meter, but again is easily explained. This is probably a large passenger jet leaving intermittent contrails while it passes through cold air pockets. Passenger jets, though you can't see the flames, let off a lot of heat. From far enough away, those 4 engines would just mold together as one large heat blob. So why the hell are we being sold this ET threat narrative? Should we be worried?
Yeah, again, where is this Greg from fucking 8 years ago?
At Gargarock Bob sent a super chat. He got replaced by a skinwalker.
Yeah, I think that will be our next Greg stream. Next time I put him on the polls, we'll try to track down the exact video where he finally went crazy.
Worried about aliens invading us? Or should we be worried about the
I wonder if he has a fucking chemtrails video.
misappropriation of funds?
It's definitely crazy to spend $22 million to research UFOs. Pilots are always going to see things that they can't identify, and we should probably look into.
Well, yeah, but it's probably, like, foreign military technology, so yes, we should be spending money figuring out what the fuck it is.
Them. But to identify them as UFOs, to target UFOs to research, that is not the priority we have as a national security matter right now.
Pilots, air traffic...
It is a national security matter, lady! If it's a spy drone from China, it absolutely is!
Controllers, ex-military personnel, and many other reliable sources have claimed to see strange objects and unexplainable phenomenon in our skies for as long as we've had flight. In World War II, there was a reoccurring phenomenon that was referred to as Foo Fighters, balls of light that danced around planes, originally
Foo Fighters, I love that
enemy
band!
Spy technology. Even though I have never personally seen a UFO in my life, I can't escape the certainty that something is happening in our skies that defies our knowledge of the universe. Some of these things could be electrical phenomena, balls of plasma sizzling in our skies, what
I've actually seen a plasma ball in the sky once. It was pretty cool.
Evil people referred to as wisps. Some of these things are obviously secret military technology or misidentified helicopters. Hell, even shiny helium balloons make the news sometimes.
Yeah, see? Shit like that! If you're taking it with a crappy lens and you can't see exactly what it is, you might think it's like a spacecraft, but again, unidentified flying object does not mean extraterrestrial.
But what about the ones that we can't explain? Are they invading aliens? Should we consider them aerial threats? Do we need a department dedicated to hunting unidentified craft?
Well, yes, because if they're spy drones from foreign nations, then yes, absolutely we do.
Is aliens, and we can't deny that it might be, we do not have to worry about these things. If these are beings that have technology that allows them, or their drones, to traverse thousands or millions of light years, if they wanted to take us over by force, they could have done it by now. The best we can do is compress hydrogen and oxygen and spray it through a nozzle, and all that did was get a handful of people to the moon. Probably. Sorry, one conspiracy at a time.
Oh, please tell me you don't believe the moon landing is fake, please! Greg!
I really want to believe that UFOs and aliens are real, but
if the moon landing was fake, the Russians would definitely call our asses on it. Even they had to admit we actually did it.
We have no reason to believe that this is aliens. We have no reason to believe that most of these objects aren't just some type of explainable phenomenon. Hell, we have no reason to believe that these sightings are even related to each other. In fact, assuming that they are related is the most presumptuous part of this. But what we hear in these news pieces is that the US Department of Defense had an entire
Yeah, right, sketchy foreshadowing is a literary device.
Your department dedicated to assessing all of these random, unrelated cases and assess them as threats. Why are these things suddenly a threat?
They are a threat because they're probably from foreign countries that don't have our best interests in mind, Greg. But again, you're Canadian talking about the United States. Nobody wants to spy on Canada. Nobody cares about you.
It's had your wife and had your husband because they're
hovering.
Well, young girl he was saying at least at the beginning that he believes in UFOs because yes, there are unidentified flying objects in the sky, but unidentified flying object doesn't necessarily mean fucking extraterrestrial.
over the ocean in a tic-tac.
Former Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid was quoted as saying, "I'm not embarrassed or ashamed or sorry I got this thing going. I think it's one of the good things I did in my congressional service. I've done something that no one has done before." Well, that's not really true. Senate members are quite famous for awarding multi-million-dollar contracts to billionaires who contribute mass amounts of money towards their campaigns, which is what happened here. Yes, Robert Bigelow, the man whose company received most of the $22 million of taxpayer money, just so happened to contribute to Senator Reid's campaign.
That campaign contributor got research contracts from this program. That just is a bad picture. It doesn't look good for anybody. It's hard to imagine that something that came about that way and profited somebody who pushed for the program.
Why didn't you tell me she was talking about corruption before I yelled at her?
Was a good use of taxpayer money.
But really, Reid is just being diplomatic here. He's saying he's happy about the decision because he has to say that he's happy. It was $22 million for Christ's sake. He'd look like an idiot if he said he regretted it. Here's the weird part though. Despite the fact that the funding was cut to the program in 2012 and the government is no longer paying the bill, the Advanced Aerial Threat Program is still running and many of the personnel are still involved in its operation. That's really suspicious. Where the a Rooney Dooney is this money coming from? As this story was making its rounds, one of the people interviewed by CNN was
You just said there are black sites and black projects that have, untraced money. You said that earlier. It's that!
Louis Elizondo. Elizondo is introduced as a former military intelligence officer and the man who ran the Pentagon's secret UFO unit. He claims he personally believes we may not be alone.
My personal belief is that there is very compelling evidence that we may not be alone. Whatever that means.
So this man believes UFOs are real, believes there is something else that shares the universe with us and visits this planet, believes that they are a threat, but for some reason left the department, and now he's telling the world his story? And for some reason, the New York Times, Washington Post, Fox News, CNN, ABC, and several other major mainstream outlets all want to run this story? What the hell is going on?
Because it'll get people watching, probably.
Hang on. Well, perhaps Elizondo's current employment has something to do with it. Mere weeks before this story broke, on a live web stream, Blink-182 bass player Tom DeLonge announced he was creating To the Stars Academy, a company that will study new scientific theories, spearhead new aerospace technologies, and eventually build UFOs. Yeah.
First we have Foo Fighters, and then we have Blink-182. There was a joke there you probably could have made, but...
Tom DeLonge wants to build UFOs. Oh, and there's also a focus on arts for some reason. And you'd think that would be music, but no, it's film entertainment. This just gets weirder and weirder. In this live stream, Tom introduces all of the leading members of the company, which included Louis Elizondo. So it can't be a coincidence that suddenly information about this black program funded with black money that could have remained secret forever becomes public only a few weeks after the head of the department...
So it's probably a publicity stunt. Okay.
Retires and becomes involved in a company that wants to study and build their own advanced UFO-type craft. Yet, despite these connections, this is the best they can give us? This garbage? This is pathetic.
UFOs. Aliens.
That has nothing to do with the people you're talking about. Now see, you were doing so well, Greg. Now this is getting a little off the rails.
Awesome. This whole story's made of awesome. At the end, I'm going to show you a video of UFO.
Unfortunately, we've only just begun to slide down this rabbit hole. In part 2, I intend to dissect To the Stars Academy, their possible connection to the Department of Defense's Advanced Aerial Threat Program.
Okay, so this in of itself is a bit of a conspiracy theory. So, this does seem like kind of the beginning of the end, huh?
As well as Tom DeLonge, his interest in the subject of UFOs, and his motivation to run this new company. And in part...
Yeah, okay, he's a UFO nut, and he founded his own company with his musician money, so fucking what?
Part 3, I want to discuss the entire culture of ufology, the 3 major groups that believe in UFOs, as well as some of the whistleblowers who...
Okay, that actually sounds kind of fun, though.
...claim to have inside information about the military's involvement in UFO technology. Thank you for watching.
Yes, I regret it. I wonder what the part 2 of this was. Probably not gonna watch it tonight. But I'm just curious. I'm thinking of things for next time. Jesus, his videos are so fucking long. But yeah, I definitely think we're definitely going to, look at Greg more in the future. We'll do more spirit science too. Like, the spirit science conspiracy videos unfortunately weren't quite as wacky as these, so he's making up for it. But we'll go back to like normal quote-unquote spirit science. No, actually, no, that's right. Next time we do spirit science, I want to go to Jordan Rivers' second channel, the one he was making chocolate on, because that looks like it could be for some good times for a Friday stream. So, next Friday, I know I said I was going to do my episode discussion stream for Tadak 9 on the 20th, but I think because last time the episode released at like 6 p.m., and most of my fans would be off watching it anyway, I think we'll just do the episode discussion stream for the Friday stream. Just fuck it. We'll just go, like, right after the goddamn episode drops. We will do the episode discussion stream. I'm also going to be releasing an actual pre-recorded video on Digital Circus and my thoughts on how the plot maybe could have been improved. It's only like 15-minute video, but I don't usually do pre-recorded / scripted. I mean, it's only like half scripted. I kind of winged a lot of it. But I don't usually do that kind of thing, but I kind of had like the urge to. I had the idea for the opening came to me, and then I just kept doing it. So you'll get that video on the same day as the episode release, probably, or soon after, because I'll just have to replace the episode 9 footage. I'm just using the leak as a temporary footage. So I'll be releasing that either on the 19th or the 20th, and then on the 19th for that Friday stream, we'll just do the Digital Circus discussion. So we're sort of, yeah, we're done, I'm wrapping up, we're done. So I'm sort of like almost skipping next Friday, but not quite. It's just going to be an episode discussion stream instead. But Fridays also kind of have no rules. We just kind of do whatever we want. And so for the Friday after that, I'll definitely put Honest Trailers back on the poll, and I'll come up with some other stuff. I won't just subject you guys to, like, Greg and Jordan all the time. We'll shake it up, but those two are definitely going to be a go-to for Friday streams, because they just have so much material we could look at, and I have so much fun. Like, even though this melted my brain, I still have fun reacting to these things that drive me crazy. Yeah, you know I love doing spirit science, I can't help it. And now Greg is basically Jordan 2.0. Alright, so it's 8:50. I think I'm gonna wrap up there. Don't forget, I'm going to be streaming Disco Elysium again on Tuesday. I'll be doing that one Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then maybe we'll do a react for the Wednesday stream, because I know you guys are, like, begging for more Has-Been Hotel Hate-Dumb reacts. And you guys want me to do more of Hezu reviews, I know. And then Anthony Gabagool might be releasing a video on Utena, and you know that's going to trigger me. So we'll have plenty of Wednesday content, too. So anyway, thank you for your super chats. If you got hit with a gifted sub today, don't forget to go to Discord and connect your YouTube account, and it should just dump you in my Discord server, where we mostly geek about media and shitpost. And I guess that's it. Yeah, that's it for Friday. I need to go wash my brain. It hurts. I'll see you guys later.